look okay.
Ed, take this from me. You're good. Believe me.
What is that? What is that supposed to mean?
I really am fat.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of MNW Firing Line. I'm your host, Joe Mojo, on camera this time, mostly because, well, we're doing things a little bit above game today, and going to be introducing my column of lovely individuals, despite what some people say. Dr. Caliban, Edward Bosco, JFrost747, and the Storytellers. Hey, everybody.
Hey, so I meant on camera. Hey, hang on, give me.
I mean,
you
don't have to.
We're doing the camera thing.
You don't have to if you guys don't want to, man.
No.
I'll just.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
I just need to set up my background for a second. Hang on.
Oh shit, that's right. He has the background.
Yeah, the background's a thing. I don't really care for it myself. Either way, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a nice little reflection of MNW in 2021 instead of a proper recap, mostly because I haven't gotten anything done this week. I'm not panicking.
I think in general, people aren't getting shit done this week.
Well, also with
it's the holiday season.
Yeah, the holiday season. Also with my current schedule, I think I have all but 2 matches of Warzone left to edit, and as well as all of Flashbang to do. Anyway, so mostly because Mr. Edward Boscolio is a very busy individual, having very
Merry Christmas to me.
Hey, look at these lovely faces here, ladies and gentlemen. Anywho, so we're just gonna be looking back on Warzone and Flashbang, but we're gonna go ahead and get started as with Flashbang as always. So, Mr. Edward Bosco, what's been like? Guess the first thing is I guess a couple questions from me as the waiting room is open, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to have any of your questions answered, please join right on.
Come one, come all.
Yeah, come one, come all. Please join right on in. But Bosco, what's been your favorite moments of MNW so far this year?
I was so happy when Nero lost the belt. I was so sick of the way they were booking him and just how obnoxious they made his title reign. It was starting to make me not enjoy the show anymore, so I'm really glad that got fixed. I enjoyed watching the Bone Warriors lose their tag team titles because, again, it was such a long reign, and it was dragging on and on and on. So that was some nice booking. I'm not really a fan of what they have been doing with the cartel, though. I think they're making the cartel too big of a deal, and I'm not really a fan of those particular. Hutch is okay. He's got some potential, but I wasn't a really big fan of Vic. I think Vic's a little out of shape, and I'm not really sure why they're pushing him as the champ. But, I mean, he's okay on the mic. I guess that's maybe why they're doing it. So I'm waiting to see where it goes. I'm actually a lot more interested in the Mad World, and I'm kind of interested in this Lovers thing that they're doing with Kuso and Hutch. And so that's kind of where my focus has been. But I feel bad for the world title because after such a strong run, it kind of went out with a whimper, and now it's on Victor. So, we'll see what happens in 2022. But we'll see if they get their act together booking-wise. We'll see what happens. The C101 has been strong.
I was wondering how long you would do that, honestly.
I could keep going.
What a mark.
You really wanted me to.
That is some grade A artisanally sourced bullshit. I appreciate it.
Sarah.
What a damn smark.
Right. Also,
Sorry.
look at the frickin' handsome lad to my left here. My God, is he handsome.
Which one?
Frost here. Look at him.
Fuck you, Joe.
Later,
I think
big
this
boy.
is the first time I've ever actually seen your face, Frost. So it's kind of,
Bro.
Oh my God, he's in his living room.
Well, yeah, where else am I gonna fucking store 2 giant TVs?
Anywho, so Bosco, what's the legit answer? Not the negative thoughts.
Totally unprepared script that you totally did not rehearse several times before we started.
Totally not. I would never. I don't know. I've just enjoyed that people still watch the show after 2 or 3 years. I'm just genuinely surprised that there's still an audience for it. So that's what I like the most. I wouldn't say there's any more. I mean, the Nexies are coming up, so you're going to see a bunch of the favorite moments that I've had because they're going to be on that list because everybody remembers them. And there are going to be other ones that people will forget about forever, and that's fine.
Yeah, this has been a big year for MNW so far. I mean, 2021, like we've had, numerous feuds begin and end, numerous instant classic matches and whatnot. Like it's honestly difficult to remember every single one of them. Like I can barely remember to like what I ate for breakfast the other day.
It's true. Caliban's dog just made an appearance on stream, so that was a win.
She does, because she knows everyone would adore her.
It's true. I mean, hey, Jordy invaded our stream last night. So
he did. He was very adorable.
Best part of the stream, honestly.
No, I can't compete with the dog. It's not fair.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, my
Can't beat dogs.
newest roommate has just passing all through. All right, so for a brief moment though, we did have Mr. Tagahara 101 MNW founder run Warzone for the beginning parts of the year up until what was it, May? With Bob...
something around there, and then I did it for a couple months, and then Caliban took it over.
Yeah, so
Right.
I guess the main thing was how excited were you going into Multivania, especially with new change regime kind of easing the booking from you for a little bit there, as well as just.
Do you want the honest answer or the politically correct answer?
We're above game, so I don't think anyone's going to blame you at all.
Yeah, Multivania was a nightmare this year. Not necessarily from a recording standpoint, because I actually pawned off a lot of the work onto other people for once, which I felt bad about. Normally, I would do more recording myself, but because of the fact that there was so much stuff going on behind the scenes, on top of the fact that we were trying to be ambitious with the matches, and looking back, we weren't nearly as ambitious as we have been other years, which is probably for the best. And then on top of that, just actually getting the shows done and doing back-to-back days and cramming it all in, it was rough. It was really rough. So it was after that I think things started to get a lot better. But Multivania was an absolute nightmare. I'm just glad people enjoyed the show, because for the couple of hours that we were on the air, I felt like it was a great show. It was the before and the after that was the nightmare.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, but the show was very well received, as like you said. I mean, personally speaking, my favorite part was the dance-off. Arkoff did a fantastic job on that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, I went through, I used my Mutant X-Men power, and I said, Arkoff, just record these for me.
Anyway.
One thing I want to just throw in on that. The decision for what was going to happen with Warzone didn't actually occur till right after Multivania. We knew there was something was going to happen, but we hadn't actually had the final meeting on what that was going to look like until after the fact. So I think part of what the stressor on Ed probably was simply we don't know what MNW is exactly going to look like after the show is over.
And then trying to negotiate what it was going to be when that had eventually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and for those that are unaware, without getting into too much of the details, basically, as you know, I currently work for Taka at this point, and some of this started with a personal conversation between the two of us, where he started expressing concern about not being able to commit the amount of time, and that discussion is where we first started talking of Caliban possibly coming in, because me and him work enough together, and I was like, yeah, he's good. And that conversation is what led to me getting Caliban to sit down with Bosco and Taka and myself and start fleshing out this whole thing, because the biggest thing that, as everybody understands, logistically this was chaos to do. The handing off of everything from one person to another, there's a lot of logistics in there that can not necessarily make it hard, but it makes it time consuming. You can't just do it over a weekend.
Yeah, it took us 3 months from the time we made
total.
The decision till the time I actually started running the show. So there was a lot of that had to be done. Fortunately, I'll say this: we had a really great team working on this whole process. I obviously, as you just heard, Tim was dealing with a lot of the logistics on that, and of course, Bosco and I were communicating quite a bit, but also a lot of support from Zacho Duo on getting things done. Some stuff from Arkolf really helping it. There was one thing that has really grown out of this is how much of a team effort MNW is now. With between the 3 shows, everyone here works on shows directly. Plus, we regularly are getting input from Zacho Duo and Off Key Lime and Corporal Canada, and everyone I've named essentially functions as what we now refer to as the actual brass of the show. And that is really helpful because it means a lot more voices are involved in creating this thing and making it functional. Certainly it makes running the show, having taken over an existing franchise, to be honest, and keeping it coherent and interesting, certainly helpful for me.
So speaking of on the booking, Sir Straw Hat is asking, is there any truth to that morale has been improved ever since Caliban took over Warzone?
Well, yeah, I think most people probably hated me, and so once we were able to get the show off of me and onto him, I absolutely think morale improved. More consistent booking, there was more people utilized on the show, less having to wait 4 months for a resolution to a story. Like, yeah, I would say morale definitely improved once we got it onto Caliban's channel.
Okay. And,
Well, and this was a big thing that had existed even back with when Taka was running the show. Everybody has a different booking style. Taka's booking style was a lot more personal to him. It was a lot of the stories that he came up with and he had pride in, and that works for some people and it doesn't work for others. And I think that in the transition, we were able to introduce different ways to make the show fit what Caliban, because we don't want to do the Takahata wrestling show, but it's Caliban. It had to be eventually become Caliban's show. So I think that this has let that become what it has. I think that this, the different level of involvement from the community is something that is more in Caliban's wheelhouse.
Also, professionally, I'm a project manager. That's what I do for a living. And so I brought those skills to that. And part of being a project manager is knowing I don't have all of the specialties needed to make this thing happen, but I have people that do. And if I can coordinate them, it can run off. And that's where you get things like how some of the characters are coming in and how some of the, a lot of people are contributing to storyline ideas. We have regular meetings every week that is just about, okay, what is our booking? And when we say booking, we're like, okay, what is our booking for the upcoming show? What is our long-term storylines for these characters? What are our long-term goals for the belts? And from that, I mean, you would have seen that in the entire build-up to Thanksgiving with the World Championship. We went into that 6-week period having all the main events already mapped out because we knew where that story had to go. And then a lot of the rest of the booking of the shows were like, okay, well, we know this is happening in the main event. What else do we have? I also do tricks like, I remember the first time I showed this to Bosco, he was like, oh, you and I are so different. And it was, I keep a spreadsheet. I have a workbook set up for MNW, and it includes a listing of all of the wrestlers on Warzone. And I always track, when was the last time this wrestler appeared in a match? Not necessarily on the show. When was the last time they were actually in a match? And who did they face? And what was the result? So I know when they were on, what their win-loss record is, and who they're potentially feuding with. And that gives us the ability. So every Tuesday, Tim, Zacho Duo, and I get together with the rest of the brass, certainly welcome to join us. And we figure out, okay, where are we going with stuff? And one of the things we found is we've hit a natural rotation where we don't have to fight to figure out, all right, this person hasn't been on the show for a while. It's like, all right, well, this person hasn't been on the show in a while, but they're involved in this storyline, so we're pretty good with them right now. The rhythm has settled in. Versus, I know, Bosco, you have a much different booking method than I do.
The best way I can describe my booking method is AEW. I have learned, because I've watched enough pay-per-views with people and predicted the card perfectly, to realize I basically just book like AEW, whether it's intentional or not, because for whatever reason, me and their EVPs think exactly the fucking same. So if you like that show, you'll probably like what I do. If you're not a fan of what they do, you'll probably hate what I do.
You heard it here first. Flashbang as good as AEW.
Flashbang is
As
all
good,
elite.
better. Hashtag better.
Oh, okay.
All right. So,
Anyway, I
all
hope
in
that
on that
answer-
one.
I hope that answers that question.
so from Travis Carey. So what made you guys want to do all these shows, and as well as why do you still do it?
I still do it because of the fans. I only show up because there's people to perform for. It'd be real easy to just pack it in. It's a lot of work. It takes preparation. It takes coordination. The pay-per-views are always going to be hectic and a shit ton of work. So I do it because of the reaction that I get from people when I put the show on. So it's you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very community orientated as well. I mean, a lot of the reason I accepted the challenge of taking over the show was I wanted to protect the community and make sure it could continue. I will admit it does also scratch a creative itch of, I have worked in past. I had taken cracks at being an actor and a disc jockey and things like that, and a writer. And it allows me to exercise those creative muscles while at the same time doing something cool with a bunch of people. And yeah, I want to keep it going. So, and here's the thing. It's a lot of work, but when it works, it is so satisfying. When you have a show where the booking hit and people are popping for the decisions, it is the best feeling, and it makes all of the headaches and the consternation getting there worth it.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, especially.
And I mean, surprise, surprise, at least one factor in all this, we're all wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and yeah, the community that developed, and it starts with a common interest like wrestling, but we've all gotten to different levels of friendship and acquaintancing, and just it's formed a community. And certainly when we see things that can help the community or keep the community going. If it's within our ability, it's something that we want to do just so that we can see the community continue.
We have a question from X Wiley Willie. How many fish can
Gross.
Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fry could fry fish?
42.
Yeah, exactly. 42.
Next.
All right.
As many as Kyle O'Reilly can eat.
Yeah, well, it's Redragon now. And
The dramatic irony is he has a fish allergy.
anyway.
Wait, I thought he showed up with a Kyle
No,
O'Reilly shirt.
I'm not
I thought
actually saying that. I'm making a joke.
He showed up with a Kyle O'Reilly shirt. Did they change his name?
I think on Twitter he said Redragon is reformed or something. I don't know. He's
We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, we'll
Maybe he was
Oh,
referring
boy.
to the tag team.
Yeah, he was. I can't remember what the actual name. It's like the violent artist Kyle O'Reilly. That's what it was.
Right, violent artist. Yeah, I saw that on his
Yeah, I
shirt.
thought he used his real name, so they
Yeah, he
can't
did.
copy
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
hey, that's one of the best things about AEW. The wrestlers can be who they want to be.
Yup.
Exactly. I mean, personally speaking, I'm still a little iffy on O'Reilly joining, but they've all been friends since like Ring of Honor and stuff, so I can't be.
We're
too
gonna
mad at
get
it.
the Elite versus the Undisputed Era,
Yeah.
and I am so here for it.
Yeah, like the big.
Here's what I'm talking about, folks. If you let us go, we're just going to sit here and talk about AEW for the
Absolutely,
next.
I could. Absolutely,
It always ends
will.
up like this.
Joe, it's your job to not let us do this.
Yeah, well, I can probably mute.
You have
Somebody.
one job, and it's to conduct this train.
Very fair
Hey!
enough. Well, hey,
Hey.
speaking of which, someone who joined the Warzone commentary team, the oh so talented Corporal Canada as Michael Montoya. How you doing, bud?
Don't.
Hi. How's it going?
Holy
I have no
shit.
clue. I just saw things happening, and I was like, okay.
Hey, I'm glad you're here, man.
Yeah, we're doing a firing line year in review.
Yeah, you're live on the air.
Oh, okay, cool. All
So,
right, I figured. All right.
So, Canada, so far, what's been your favorite moment of 2021?
Well, answer that. I gotta go take care of somebody back.
I'm sorry.
He said
Favorite
he'll-
moment of the year.
Favorite moment of the year so far. I'd just say commentating on the championship bout was just a lot of fun. So I'd say that personally.
Yeah, you've definitely been like I know I sent you this in a DM before, but you have been a fantastic addition to the commentary team. You bring like an energy that some would definitely say was I mean, no offense to storytellers and Calibans, but an energy that a lot of people say that was drastically needed.
Well,
Yeah, and
I'm a
I mean,
screaming
we've
guy,
said
but don't
before
say that until I'm actually good at it.
I was gonna say please one at a time. I can only focus on one.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
sorry about
Don't worry,
that.
I haven't.
I have no problem admitting that me and Caliban are both much more subdued in our commentary, and we needed somebody to have that energy, and
A crackhead early 20-something, yeah, that works out.
someone who isn't as dead inside as I am.
Well, shit.
Ooh,
All right, so
damn, I feel that.
yeah, same. So
That
from
hurts.
Brad Dadmiral, aside from your own character, which should that be the case, which character on Flashbang or Warzone do you guys consider to be your personal favorite at the moment? And Bosco,
I'm not gonna.
and Bosco, why
I'm
is
not
it
gonna answer
Spike?
that. That's messed up. I'm not. First of all, if I was gonna pick, first of
Oh
all, if
yeah,
I was
like
gonna,
you don't pick favorites. You goddamn pick.
I don't pick favorites, and I'm not gonna pick
Sir,
favorites because that'd be
sir.
messed up.
Dad, please stop fighting. Mom, this is why Mom left us.
You never had a mom.
Ah, you're right. She threw me in the trash can.
Wow.
Welcome
So,
to Firing Line, everybody.
Back to the question at hand. Who's been some of? Okay, so I guess I'll rephrase this. Who's been some of the characters in 2021 that you have definitely taken a bit, not I'll like it to, that have been like the most improved in your eyes?
Who are you?
And this is an open panel, so anybody, everybody.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to jump in first with one of the maybe less obvious, and that is going to be the janitor. And that some of it I have a bit of a vested interest in, but I think that of the ones that I'm excited about and am pleased with how it has gone so far, I would definitely put janitor up there.
Sorry, I was away. What was the question?
So, Grand Dadmiral was asking who has been your favorite character so far in 2021, but I guess to not play favorites, who has been in your eyes like one of the more improved, i.e., mostly promo-wise or match-wise?
Tim's right that the janitor's been a good one. I think though, if I had to look at a character who has been greatly improved over the last year, I would go with Sir Unkley Dunk.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, his promo game has been top notch. He's been working really good at being a really good, pompous, rich heel. So, and it's one of those. Every time I say, "Oh, I got a new promo from Unkley Dunk," good, this is going to be entertaining. And also the fact that Unkley is so there for whatever is going to happen. Unkley is invested in the story, not winning or losing. And he's one of the guys. The other guy that does this to me a lot is Off Key Line with Ozzy Turan. I actually was setting up something, and I said, "Hey, you're going to go up against this guy." And it turned out it was a match against the Funk. And he's like, "Oh, good. Can I lose? I think this match will work a lot better if the Funk wins."
Yep.
So, anyway, but overall, I'd say Unkley Dunk.
Well, and I think certainly one to include in that. It's been a bit more of a recent thing, but I definitely think it bears reference is the recent Wilson shift.
Yeah, I think that's going to turn out long term. I think you guys are going to be really impressed where that story is going. That was a hard one to keep secret.
Yeah,
because we knew for a long time where we were going to go with that, and when we did the match, I was like, you guys, everyone's like, oh, you guys have no idea what's coming.
I would just giggle to myself anytime someone would talk about it. It was awesome.
hey Zacho,
Hey,
he's in chat.
He's a child. I was gonna say, I got
no one tell them we said nice things about him. It drives him crazy.
So wait, no one said that he is a fantastic human being that has a amazing taste in practically anything and is an
Well, see,
amazing
fortunately,
streamer.
we were able to cover the amount of work he helped us do for Multiverse before he got here, so we were able to do at least that much.
And in return, we grant him 18 hours of REM sleep. It's in your account. Just withdraw it whenever you like, Zaka.
And this just in, we have Grand Admiral gifting a sub to Zako Duo. Hey Zako, enjoy the hammering emote and the sip. I guess for this next one, we have Travis A. Carey asking for Frost and myself. How's it been taking over Firing Line, and what's changed in how you communicate on a live recording? Honestly, I act like a wrestling nerd for a change, and I just give it to Frost, who is a fantastic individual to bounce things off of. Seriously, his eye for improv, like his mind for improv is scary.
Look, I just wing it. That's literally all I can do.
That's literally what improv is. So you're good at it. So shut up and take a compliment.
There you go. It's also probably the power you're drawing from those 80-year-old couches.
I'm glad you said couches and not something else.
You see,
Actually,
this is the thing with Canada.
You're all couches.
I have been thinking that, but I've kept my mouth shut, and that's the thing that's good with Canada. He will not.
Which is really the secret of Seth Jackson.
80-year-old couches?
No, just whatever.
That I will
Maybe.
say whatever that
Maybe.
hell stupid thought is on the front of my face.
Well, speaking about someone who's fantastic to bounce ideas off of, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Travis A. Carey, a.k.a. Maximilian Thunderthighs. Hey, Travis.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Good. Congrats on winning last night.
I know. I always win. What did I win again?
You were one of the raffle winners last night.
Oh, it was? Oh, I had to leave the stream. I had a baby to take care of.
Yeah, 4 MNW people won for the Pokemon prizes.
Oh.
It was you, Connor, Papusa, and JNP. All of you won stuff.
Great job, guys.
Well-
Keep it up. Keep stonewalling those new people. Good job.
Oh yeah, Travis is gonna
Probably
Kevin Nash the
keep
shit
it.
out of everybody.
That's right.
If all of the MNW people link arms, we can keep everyone else out. It's fine.
I'm gonna add it to my next one that's beside my house, my computer right now. I'm putting it up in a frame like I have my other one right now.
Yeah.
I'll only accept it though if Ed signs it though. I need like I think the greatest signature ever, eh?
Just like sign it right on.
Did
the,
you just say the
wrapping
greatest
paper.
signature ever? That's
Yeah.
the most Canadian you've ever been in my life.
Well, does it
I'm
need
just
Tim
trying to get back
Hortons
to my
go
roots,
even
man.
Further?
Yeah, well, actually, I wanted to bring up something. The reason why I wanted to come on here, because I actually had an answer to the question that I needed to put out here. JMP, I hope you're listening. You are probably one of the most improved people from 2020 to 2021. You have taken promo, you have taken conquest, and you have taken your attitude as a main attending roster person and put it in everybody's faces and made sure that everybody knows that you are a champion. Okay? I want to put this out here. You were doing so fucking good. Good job on you, man, and way to be a good leader here.
I'll second that. I think part of the reason I didn't initially think of saying JMP is his improvement has been going on a lot longer than 2021.
Absolutely.
He's been steadily improving. I mean, it's to the point now. I have certain people where if I get a promo from them, I know it's going to be good no matter what happening. And it's, you, Unkley, well, Rosso, and JNP. And it's like, all right, well, these are going to be good promos. Why? Because I know the people who are putting them out.
Yeah, like Rosso and Uncle Duck have definitely been upping their, I guess, like their promo game in terms of like showing off like their creative juices, especially like the radio plays that they've been doing. JMP has been delivering some solid, like pretty much like wrestling promos. Like
the writing and character bits has just been on point.
Exactly.
Like, but besides the editing and all the finagly stuff that I do to pad out the fact that I'm an idiot, like like you guys are just so good at like just character work in general, and that's something I need to work on.
Well, working on, dude, you've been doing.
You can't
Push.
develop perfection.
You really can't. You're actually like, I'm envious of you, man.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm going to go AFK real quick. I will BRB.
All right.
Well, means.
This is so, Travis, I agree. No, JMP's done great work. Anything? Well, while we've got you here,
Okay.
let's talk about. So how much Reddit? We were just discussing the Wilson story, and and the bizarre directions. It's how I'm assuming because you do the voice that you've been working with Will on some of the development of where it's going. So how excited are you for the upcoming Wilson story?
From what I know, and from what I have been getting for promo material from Wilson himself, oh boy, I had to go look up Greek mythology and lore to understand where he wanted to come from these promos. I learned lots about different Greek plays, and I am looking forward to whatever this is. And I don't know. I'm hoping that this turns. What I have really enjoyed about this is that Wilson has turned onto the idea of putting in classical music into his promos, and I'm just like, as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh yes, as I can go look up my good stuff. Here's my collection of things that I like to put in stuff.
The audio engineer nerd is like, yes, I have this. I had this.
I was trying.
I heard audio engineering. What?
I was trying to think of a good analogy in wrestling for what's going on with Wilson, and the best I've been able to come up with so far is what you're seeing right now is Rocky Maivia transitioning into The Rock.
I was actually gonna go with the actual breakthrough of William Regal when he moved into Power of the Punch, particularly.
I compare it more to like a giant Gonzalez coming out party against the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
I don't know why, but my brain goes to a kind of more of a recent development, and that's been Miro. Like he wasn't booked as like the monster that he is now, especially with his, I guess, War Against God now. But like he was kind of goofy, kind of flashy, especially with whatever the fuck he was wearing, fuck he was.
Miro, but except with a successful initial gimmick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oof.
So anyway, yeah, thank you. What do we got?
Zachary, you can always hop in.
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah, seriously, man.
This is because we've been discussing a little bit of the booking process.
Zocco doesn't book.
Boy.
Oh,
You have booking and confused with brooding. I know the letters are similar, but there's a difference.
Wait, did you say
they both start with
or
B?
Brooding.
Brooding.
See, now he has to come in and defend
yes, Matrix.
There we go.
I said that Wilson's transition was a lot like when Giant Gonzalez had his big coming out against the Undertaker at WrestleMania and kind of became a big deal.
Oh boy.
And there we go. Hey, Zacco.
Zaka.
At least he wasn't the Yeti.
I'm hiding behind things now.
Yosh.
All right. Well, hey, since we got Zacco here.
Morning, Zacco.
Hello, Zaka.
Yeah, you're a little low, Zacco, but somebody needs to.
I'm
juice Zacco's voice
working
a little
on
bit.
There, does that fix it?
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
So, Zacco, people asked us earlier about the booking, and I gave a little bit of an overview of how we do it. Just and the fact that it's a team effort, but there are times. I mean, we will get into these meetings, and thank you, Travis.
Oh, bye. He left.
Adios, Travis.
Because we'll come into these meetings, and Zacco will usually have some prepared ideas, when we sit down. So, Zacho, what's your process for getting ready for your portion of the booking of Warzone?
I usually have everything booked out about 2 to 3 weeks out, if not at least 2 months.
Is that like full
This
on
man has no
detailed,
license
or is this
leaving
kind of like
America.
a general idea?
More of a general idea, because as it is right now with the C101, I have an idea of where I want everything to land, but as for all the other tag matches that we've got going on, I'm trying to emphasize more of the tag division because it's been kind of one of the key weaknesses I've noticed about Warzone as of late that I'll just admit is that we've been focusing a lot more on people's singles pushes, especially since some folks have been wanting more singles pushes, but that kind of leaves our tag division a little dried up. So I've been trying to get more tag matches going, trying to get more interactions. Like the whole Burning Lounge Omega Pub thing going on right now. At first, I was very much against it because it's 2 bar-themed factions, so that's where it gets a little overstuffed. But having them actually play off each other should result in something here in the future. As far as everything specific, like as far as my championship reign, I have certain points I want to hit before we feel the time is needed to transition to someone else.
Fucking Kenny Omega over here.
Fuck off. Sorry that I don't want to juggle my championship between 3 different people in 2 weeks.
But we,
I accept your apology.
Le robot.
Remember what we were saying about different ways of booking?
Yeah.
There you go.
but yeah, this is and
That wasn't a dig at me. I support his dig.
But like I said earlier, Zacho, we were talking about the spreadsheet we keep and how at this point the rotation seems to be working almost organically.
Well, I think we're coming up on much less instances of there being a lone straggler, so to speak.
Right. Well, and I got to share with you guys the other weird thing that's been happening more and more lately. A very common phrase between Zacho and I now is "get out of my head." We'll come to a meeting, we'll have the exact same idea.
Oh yeah, Zacho does that to me all the time. I'll pitch an idea and he goes, "That's exactly my idea."
We were writing, so he was like, "We got to do this thing," and I wrote something, and I sent it to him, and it came back. It was literally exactly what I was writing, almost word for word. I'm like, "Yeah, well, we've been doing this a little too long." Also, we actually understand the concepts of booking.
Yeah, you guys haven't found Zacho's cameras and microphones in your houses yet? I found mine. I'm just leaving them.
See, I like
And there we
to
go.
like wave to them because there's nothing interesting about my life going on. So, hey, enjoy the show while you're at it.
Hey, fuck off. Fuck off. You got nice cats.
Yeah. Here's one. Speaking of which,
What kind of a compliment insult is that? The
Hey, dude,
fuck?
nice
Fuck off,
cats.
You got
Yeah,
nice
he's got a
cats.
nice
Quote it.
cat.
Quote it.
Hey,
Drop
what-
it.
Hey,
Put it on the
bro,
wall.
nice cats, bro.
Nice cat.
Nice cats, man.
That's a nice cat.
All
the
right.
funny thing is,
What-
like,
what?
my cat literally just jumped in from her little perch just to come say hi.
I know Shinobi was
boy.
trying to write a question, but I think he got cut off.
Go ahead and take another shot, Shinobi, when you have a sec.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and post it if you don't have the points for
If
it.
you don't have enough points.
I was gonna say, Graven Chocolate Zombie was asking for either show. Has there been a time RNG has legitimately nuked a story for you?
I'll let Bosco start.
What's the question? Hold on.
That's the time
Repeat
that
that
RNG
voice.
has nuked a storyline.
Like it's like the
I
outcome
can't.
is not
Okay,
what you expected.
one person at a time. Joe, what is the question?
Has there been a time to where RNG legitimately nuked or just like put a damper on a storyline for
All
you?
the fucking time. It's already done it in the C101. Yes.
There's your
All
answer.
especially when you're running an RNG. Yes. How many times can I say yes? Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
and I think kind of the clarification, if there is any, is that it not just like an idea, like, oh, we're kind of like, no, we completely throw out every bit of the script and start from ground one. It's like, yeah, a couple of things where it like derails it and we have to like U-turn, but if we've ever hit a point where we've just had to like, okay, this plot line is dead.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Why do you think we have the janitor right now? Abso-fucking-lutely. Don't lie, I heard that, Zako.
I mean, I recently, you know what the worst thing was? I had a match recently booked where it's like I did everything in RNG that I could to weigh it to a certain team, and the other team won. And the problem was, it's like, no, I didn't want them to win. That's okay, fine. You know, that part happens plenty. But it's when, okay, not only did they lose, but the last moment of the thing had them do something where it's like, oh, they attacked the ref. What? No. Now I have to explain why they're not actually the bet. No, I hate you.
The curse of the turnbuckle that we've been having going on, yeah.
The curse of the turnbuckle. Well, or even, we did a back right when we were getting ready for the transition of my taking over Warzone, and Bosco and I were doing the show together. And we'd done the shift to my account, but Bosco was still running it. We did this whole match that it was the Pick Your Poison match where XR Kun put Dr. Grimm up against the Creation. And we're like, oh, right, this is going to be finally the Dr. Caliban versus Dr. Grimm thing everyone's been begging for. And it went perfectly, and the Creation won. It's like, it's great. And then they shook hands.
Yep.
Always the consummate professionals, though.
And I am literally still dealing with storyline spin-outs from that because I had to make it work.
Yeah, especially with...
Which, by the way, Bosco, you and I need to talk some more about what's going to happen with that.
Oh, good.
Actually, though, it brings up something interesting. So people were asking earlier about what it was like with the transition between the shows. One of the things that is happening is I think we're at a stage where Bosco and I are much more open to crossover moments.
Yes.
Where people from one, because people always want to have these crossovers. We've got, people. Oh, I desperately want to match with this guy who's on the other show, and before that was and it's still tricky. But now it's just tricky, at least in the technical aspects, because we can sit down and go, okay, well, we should do something with these guys, and so that is more possible. But we're not going to do it too much because then it just cheapens it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as special.
Mm-hmm.
So
it all.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it all boils down to just like too much of a good thing can kind of cheapen the results.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yep.
So
I will just to tack on my own answer to the question of derailing a storyline or just getting rid of it entirely. Thankfully, that hasn't happened. I mean, match results. Nothing has happened RNG-wise that I didn't account for. Well, this guy wins, hurrah. If they don't, well, we can work on it. Because anything that I absolutely need to happen, I make happen.
Whatever you say, Kenny.
Excuse the fuck you.
Anyway, so
those were
words.
Speaking of which, Shadow Dancer Bob, thank you.
Smells a bit Laurinaitis in here.
Yeah, speaking of, anyway, so speaking of Grimm and Caliban, Shadow Dancer Bob, thank you for the follow. But what Shinobi was originally trying to ask was, how did the idea of the Doomsday Trios tournament come about? Also, I do want to thank Twitch for the raid with a party too.
How did the Trios tournament come about?
Yes.
It was really simple. Doom needs opponents. They're going to be busy for a while. We have number one contenders for pretty much everything else. And a Trios tournament would allow me to use a lot more people over the course of the C101. Because I wanted it just to be the tournament arc, because jokes. So I won't have a lot of showcase matches. I won't have a lot of other matches. So I wanted as many people to be featured and involved as possible.
I love jokes.
Yeah, like, I mean, especially with, like, the way the C101 has been progressing week by week has actually been, I mean, at least for me on Firing Line, is let loose my inner nerd and just, like, the speculations of it have been a fantastic talking point, especially with we have Aiden currently at 0 points, and then everything that's going on Flashbang's side. It's been fun to guess. All right, so we
Well,
got.
and that's what we would hope from a tournament arc like this.
Yeah.
Especially doing the format of the C101. Everyone faces everyone. Okay, who's going to face? Eventually you're going to face every one of these people. Some interesting promo work's been coming out of it, but I mean, for me, again, because Zacho and I have discussed extensively where this is going, but for me, it's what's the crowd reaction going to be to this match? How much are they going to pop for this one? I think Bosco is a bit this way too. I live for people's pops when things really hit.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, one moment it was Madness is upset over Lady Boots.
Yeah, that was a good one. Also, actually, the Zacho Mad Jack match.
Oh yeah.
I'm so
I felt
proud of
worked
that match.
really-
I did that
really-
match at the last fucking second
Yeah,
at
but
4 in the morning.
Jesus.
So
It was Zacho's fault. He told me to stay up the whole time, and so I did, and I made.
Fuck
That's
off!
good
I had a
enough,
different
though.
idea, and you hijacked it.
Children,
up.
fight
Look,
nice
just 'cause
because
I-
you're getting the sandal.
Yeah, La Chancreta. Don't fucking.
You too, Ed.
Fuck!
Anyway, so from Calypso Bella Rose.
Yeah,
what- From Calypso, what is the most difficult part of running the show?
Crashes and the bullshit. Especially when it's live and RNG.
yeah, that's rough. Also, I will agree with that absolutely, because especially if something crashes, like what was it? We had one showcase match where
It
crashed
just
5
kept
times
crashing.
during
And
the entrances. It was like, are we going to get here at some point? But the other thing that can be another big challenge, and is the balancing act of the booking, and that is people will pitch these ideas. I really want to see this thing happen. It's like, that's great, but we also have the overarching story that this has to serve. So people will throw, I want to see this man, and I'll keep things in the background and try and service them. But there are some things where it's like, I can't do that right now because this other thing is going on. So it's trying to balance out what the people are looking for with the fact that we have to run something for, on the Warzone side, I've got 84 active characters I have to keep balanced somehow.
And a lot of storylines that I have to just be like, oh yeah, that's a thing that's happening too.
Hey, can I?
And
About that.
And adding on to that, while I'm not on part of the live team anymore due to my schedule, as far as the hardest part for me is, of course, the booking aspect, but mainly because having to find a way to get the things I want done while also making sure everybody's featured and certain parties I want protected remain protected. Like Murder Cave, I'll just admit, have kind of sputtered since the Multivania and Grizzly challenging for my title. And that's primarily because I don't feel comfortable putting them in an RNG situation where even if we do weigh things into their favor, the game could very much still screw us. And with the C101 happening, I very much want to keep them away from that because it's been the thing that the Faces of Fear, or their associated members in this case, always ruin the C101. I'm not letting that happen again. So having to keep certain pieces on the board that I want while not trying to overstuff things has been a very hard aspect. And then there's accompanying the things that folks in the audience who are on the show want. That's also been difficult. Like the whole VIP storyline right now has given me a headache on multiple occasions on, okay, how the hell do I make this work? But thankfully with Caliban helping out, it's been a smoother
big on.
process, but there's still the occasional where I just go, oh, right, yeah.
So Bosco, we got another question for you. We have a tournament
Mm-hmm.
arc currently. So when are we going to get a beach episode? And is there going to be?
I don't know. Ask
Bash-
Mizuki when the fan art's coming.
I was just curious if there was a bash at said beach. Honestly.
I mean, I could absolutely do a Bash at the Beach pay-per-view.
You won't be able to see the beach, but it will be there, we promise.
No, I could. Look, motherfucker.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and it gets
Okay,
everywhere.
enough of that.
Anakin, quit panicking. We have a planikin.
You.
Yeah.
Next
so-
question, Joe,
Yeah,
please.
I'm about to read the next one. All right, so Travis apologizing for baby stuff. Never apologize for taking care of your own child. For one, when will we have the Money in the Bank in the future while the Mega Money in the Big Bank is in play?
The answer to that question, and this is something that we have all on the booking team discussed, is we don't want to have 2 briefcases out in the wild right now. And we want one of the feels we had once the booking shifted over to us is we wanted to de-emphasize. There is going to be a time when there's not a Money in the Bank in the field. We've been slow burning the JMP's holding of the briefcase because it makes him a great background threat. Witness what's going on with him right now in the C101 thanks to that. But also, everyone's like, oh, he's going to cash in now. Is he? We wanted to hit to the point where it's like when he does finally cash in, it's got to feel like a big deal. And once that happens, then if we do another Money in the Bank, which we will at some point, it's not going to be just right away. There's got to be a storyline reason for the Money in the Bank. That Money in the Bank should serve the story.
It is right now because we have so many champions in a tournament, and then we have someone with a ticket. We're just waiting.
But I'm not going to, and I don't believe Zacho is desiring it either, or Tim, that we don't want there to be a constant Money in the Bank in play, because at that point it becomes you got this hell, but at any point this person could come in and screw everything up. Nah, it should be special when it happens.
Yeah, like one of the other things about the way it was is whenever a mega, not the Mega Money, but whenever a Money in the Bank case got cashed in, that meant that immediately next show there had to be another case holder, and that felt like the surprise was kind of gone. It's like, okay, well, we gotta wait to see if he cashes in again. Okay, like once a year is honestly fine.
I'll say it this way: when another Money in the Bank match happens, it'll be at a pay-per-view.
Good.
It won't have. We will not have that on a regular show.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll actually have some Flashbang people able to join in, because I know that's been something that a lot of the viewers have been wanting to see, like say Hutch going for like one of the mid card titles or something, just cashing in.
Well, and I know when we were starting off the C101, that you were talking earlier about fun secrets that were a little hard to keep. The announcement of the involvement of Flashbang this year was definitely one that a number of us were struggling to keep secret.
I remember when we were getting ready for the C101 announcement, and people were like, well, when's Flashbang getting their C101? Well, if C stands for Caliban, then will we get an E101?
No.
And
nope.
And of course it was like, you guys have no idea. And I couldn't even hint that, saying you guys have no idea what's coming would have given away. So I will tell you, Zacho, when he gave me the promo for the C101, the announcement promo, and it was so perfectly set, because I want to say Victor Vicious was the 5th or 6th person announced. But it was that moment of I was so intently watching chat for the moment Victor came in, and I was
when people made that connection.
Wait a minute, that's a Flashbang wrestler, and people were like, wait, Victor, but he's on Flashbang. And then like the next 3 announcements were Flashbang, and that's when people went, wait a minute, Flashbang is Block B.
Just seeing chat go, oh.
So that was one of those great moments. Anyway, I think we've lost the thread of the questions.
Yeah, so kind of picking it up, we got Rosso asking, how have the respective showrunners been handling the wrestlers' ideas that are being pitched to them?
I'll let Ed go first this time.
No, you can
can't-
go
I-
first. It's fine. Ladies first. You got this.
Wow. You'd like to
Oh, you
brush
no.
up that,
Oh,
that
oh,
old
you
dinosaur,
think
I
that?
see.
Oh, you think I'm not insecure in my masculinity, Bosco? Sorry.
Damn it. Well, that didn't work.
That's it. I'm getting the freaking sandal.
There it is.
Caliban is the manliest man I
No.
know.
Hang on, let Zacho go. Zacho, you had.
Oh,
an
I'm a-
answer. Yeah.
All right. I mean, I kind of answered it or addressed it earlier with the whole hardest part of the booking thing, but I'm not against accepting a lot of ideas because we're trying to work with everybody to try to let them be an integral part of the show. There are some things that I look at and raise an eyebrow, like, okay, this is going to be very difficult to apply to a wrestling show, but I will do what I can, which ultimately comes down to the word compromise. Because what everybody thinks is the penultimate greatest wrestling story doesn't exactly fit the frame, so we have to adjust. So if you ever message me an idea and I'm poking holes in it, I'm not doing it to put you down or anything. I'm just trying to, one, tighten up some of the plot holes I notice, and two, try to fit it in the frame of a wrestling story if it even can fit in it.
Some of it, I imagine, is also just, presenting the problems that you're coming across. It just like, look, these are the things that I have to think about with your idea. And I think that another issue that comes up is pacing. And I think that's one of the things there where it's like, not necessarily saying that that's a bad idea that you just had there, but we have timelines and schedules, and so it's not to say that we don't want to use that idea. It just might take a bit.
Yeah.
So, hey, Bosco, what? Could you go ahead and answer the question? No, I know you have somewhere to be here in a minute.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's all good. Sorry, I totally missed what the question was because a million people have been answering it.
Not you've been fine, dude. So how have you been handling the ideas that some of the people in the community have been pitching you?
Terribly, but I try to get them all in.
All right.
I've tried to give as much freedom as I can to the people that want it with their characters in terms of stories they want to do or teams they want to make or people they want to fight. I try to make it all work and sometimes have a semblance of story mixed in, but I have grown less and less attached to my long-term stories because I realize people want a little bit more control, and so I try to give that to them. And then if they don't care, then I can write something long-term for them.
I mean,
Yeah, in the same vein of that, thank you for being free and open with me with Seth stuff and moving him over to Warzone and everything.
Well, no,
like
and
that.
it
That was-
made sense. Like you and Caliban were super close, and I know you've been wanting to do something different than APS for a while. And I'm like, why would I force him to stay on my show and potentially lose a community member that just wants a change of scenery?
Yeah, no, you're always so attentive. Like, thank all of you guys for being so attentive as someone who's, been part of the community and has just now been like, hey, now I'm on a show. But yeah, no, you guys are awesome. So this, if you guys get those seeds of doubt, you guys are trying your best, and we all see it.
I know I'm amazing, but thank you. I appreciate the validation.
there it is. That's what we've been missing.
All
That's why you came here.
delete the
God.
demo reel, shred all the scripts, burn everything.
No, you're a great voice actor. Don't do it.
And here we go.
Don't forget the rough drafts.
This is
Yep.
this is my life every Saturday.
Yeah, for those watching, this is typically how this goes, even when we're not on camera or on mic.
Or, anywhere.
All right. So
Oh.
before Caliban goes ahead with his thought, Bosco, thank you for joining us, even if it was for like this brief hour. It's been fun.
No, I appreciate it. And if there are any other questions or concerns, by all means, you guys know where to find me. Have a great rest of the show. And
Speaking of which, where
Thank
can
you
they
for-
find you?
twitch.tv/Edward Bosco. If anybody is confused, we are off for the holidays. So we will be back probably on the 31st, I think is Flashbang.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will talk.
Friday.
I will talk with Caliban to confirm that, but we're probably gonna, because I don't really do much on New Year's Eve and a New Year's Day. But if we need to take another week off, we will. And if we don't, we don't. So stay tuned. Join the Discord.
I'm planning on going on New Year's Day, so
Well, then I'm going on New Year's Eve. So there you go. We'll be back next week.
There we go.
I unfortunately will be unavailable.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, I gotta
Hey,
find.
no, yeah, it's all good.
I gotta find a
You're good, man.
co-host, but that'll be okay. Because both on the first, both Tim and Canada are gonna be off, but that's okay. I've got people.
Don't
Wait.
tell me we got to do another.
Why am I
battle
gonna
royale.
be off?
I thought you said you weren't gonna be here on New Year's Day.
No, I'm gonna be here.
All right, well then,
I'm
okay.
off work. Yeah.
All right, I got a mixed message from you then. That's fine. That's not like that's never happened before. Anyway, hey Bosco, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your show.
All right.
You as well.
All right, goodbye.
Bye bye.
Anyway, so Calvin, apologies
Oh, man.
for
Glad he's gone.
interrupting you.
Jeez.
Yeah, they have
Oh,
to strap him
God.
back to
Boy.
his Hannibal Lecter
Man.
hand truck and put him back in the
All right.
back of the truck. Take
So-
him back.
And
Strap him in.
anyway, Caliban, sorry for interrupting before you got going, but it was getting to be that time for him.
I completely lost the train of thought, so let's just go to the next question.
Okay, so from Vince Smoke, we got, speaking as one who loves the idea of Lady Boots being in the C101, especially, I mean, Kuso Kale as well, will we see more lady wrestlers being added to, being added or have more matches? Also, he just wanted to give some well wishes, saying that he loves us all, and thank you for working so hard, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.
Aw, well, I love Tim too.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we really love him.
Okay, so the lady wrestler thing. I mean, obviously, we want to give the female wrestlers a chance to shine, and we've been working at. The problem is, the game is such a finicky bitch when it
God,
comes to
yes.
doing that. I mean, there are things that's like, oh, I want to do this thing. Anytime I'm planning a match with a female wrestler, I have to run a test first. Is this going to work? Before we even started the tournament that led to Lady Boots winning the Nexus Titan, I ran a test match. Can I actually have a title match between Lady Boots and Sir Uncle Dunk? Is it going to work? And we figured it out. But there are things that's like, oh, I'd love to do this match and have this match between Uzra and Whitney Lee, and I want to have Flame Revenant run in. Oh, I can't do a run in with a match that has a female wrestler. Oh, okay, I want to do this match, and I want it to be Constantinople and Uzra versus other Omega Club guys, and I want to have managers. Oh, I can't have managers because it'll automatically make it DQ, and I have to. All matches with female wrestlers have to be no DQ.
Yeah.
Or there's the balancing act of if
Even then, sometimes does the game just say no anyway?
usually
Didn't
it's
that
There's
something
always
that
the
one.
chance.
it's always the chance. It's usually something I didn't consider though.
Didn't that happen with the Omega Pub Burning Lounge storyline? Didn't that happen at
No.
one point?
I forgot to set. I put managers in the match.
Oh, that's what that was.
That
Okay,
was
okay.
I put managers in the match and automatically made it a DQ match.
Ah,
The other
okay.
thing we have is, all right, we want to do a multi-person match, and one of the wrestlers is a female wrestler. The problem with that is, even with the way we've got the hack in, male wrestlers, if they have a choice between a female and a male target, will always target the male.
Mhm.
So it is, for example, I was, because my character, I was watching the Spectre Sonata versus House Caliban match, and I went, we're gonna lose, and I knew we were gonna lose because all of the House Caliban guys are gonna focus on the male wrestlers and completely ignore TK, and TK is a good enough character that's enough of an advantage. She's gonna kill us all, and she did.
Yep.
So, for example, if I'm doing showcase matches, you'll notice when I book showcase matches, unless I'm trying for a particular outcome, well, if I have one female wrestler, I'll usually have two.
Yeah,
Because at least the women will possibly fight together. Or you set it up as a tag situation where it's not a tornado tag, it's just a tag. Where, okay, you're in the ring with a female character, you have no choice but to target her. lot of the intricacies of how the game work have to be considered. So to the return to the question, do I want to be focusing on the female characters? Absolutely. But I really want them to be. I don't want it to be it's only the women's division, because that doesn't work. You need them to be able to fight everyone. And so as long as I want to keep them on the top of the show, but it does mean we have to do a lot of pre-planning, and it does limit some of the choices we can make.
Plus, yeah, that sort of takes out of the universe too. If we're having Jedis fighting things from Warhammer, fighting a normal dude, we could have a match where it's a dude versus a chick. It shouldn't matter.
Shouldn't, but that's how this game's coded.
The game is
And-
unnecessarily chivalrous.
Right.
And
What
as
you say,
far as
Zacho?
adding more women to the roster, that is still a possibility, but we still need to trim some of the fat of folks who, unfortunately, are not part of the community anymore, or inactive, or even just some NPCs that we need to dump off.
So
Simple answer: we're not against it, but the rosters have been crowded for a bit, so it's not impossible, but
mhm.
Because I know Flashbang.
not
has-
necessarily right away.
Yeah,
Mhm.
'cause I know Flashbang can not only fill a showcase match, but like even have like a bit on the sidelines. But yeah, kind of. So from Meister DB27, I believe that's Sergeant Major Payne, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
As a rookie, how hard is it to actually work with the rookies into like a main story from a booking standpoint?
Well,
So that
go ahead, Zacho.
So with the new people getting more involved with stuff, that all depends on one, crowd reaction, and two, actual wins. So we do let RNG play with some of the folks that we don't have a hard set storyline for. Like for the stuff with VIP, some of it's RNG, some of it I hard code something to happen, versus some of the other storylines that are happening that we can have a little leeway in. Okay, this person can win or this person can win, and we could still flex it either way. But when it comes to the new folks, again, it's a bit of a balancing act to where we have our older card who have been here the longest and are technically I don't want to say top tier, but get a bit more priority just because they've been here longer, and some who have been here for years and have never really been utilized. Like Hyrold is a perfect example. He, as far as my memory goes, has never had any involvement in any title picture. And after we got our hands on him, we were able to propel him to reward him for his time with the community and for just being a great person, with getting possibly one of the best matches that MNW has ever seen. So when it comes to the newer folks, if RNG isn't too kind to you, like we know that some folks who are unfortunately on losing streaks right now, if we can work a way to get you more involved with stuff, then we can start propelling you a bit more. Like,
IB
Shoot.
Kane and Beowulf are pretty good examples.
Yes,
I was
like
gonna say,
Beowulf,
Hiroshima joining with Blood Money. You
That
know,
was-
Yes, exactly
to,
that.
Talk to established people, or do it. If you make good promos that people like you, and they want to see more of you.
and the other flip side of that is if you can't do promos, that's absolutely fine. We can take the text version that you put in the.
you.
Calm down.
Yeah, he's really good.
I mean, there
But,
are other. Go ahead, Zacho. Sorry, I thought you were done.
Sorry. I'm almost finished with my thought. I promise.
You're fine.
And again, if we do recognize that the game has been hard screwing you, we can work something to get that some story involvement. Like I know there's someone in particular who has had a hard losing streak that we do have a plan for in the future, or even like for Beowulf. I know Caliban, you mentioned him, and I wanted to bring him up too. He was doing pretty well in singles competition. He did a killer promo, and he by RNG won the match against Sergeant Major Payne in the Hell in a Cell. So his big propellant was having the spotlight put on him that he was the closest to beating Arkoff in that Gauntless match.
Yeah, because
or
like
if you notice, like Seth Jackson won one match in in
He's-
Flashbang.
He's
like
one of
one or two matches.
He's
He's won one single match in Flashbang, but now in Warzone, I think I'm undefeated, which is just, RNG can either hand you a golden goose egg, or
yeah.
just shit on you. Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is sometimes it's okay. How do I use these guys in story? So right now, obviously, we've got one storyline that built out of it, which was when Clone Trooper Kev came to me and said, "Hey, I want to do this thing with Defunct," and it's like, oh, this is something I can start incorporating the some of the rookies in, and then Uncle Dunk and Straw Hat popped in and said, "Oh, wait a minute," because apparently while I was setting something up, they had started talking with Nakano, and that suddenly became a story. It's a lot of it is going to be like a combination of everything Zacho said, and just do we get the right seed for a story to do something with you, and it goes back to the earlier answers we gave about booking. It's all a balancing act. And it's the how do you make it all work as a cohesive whole. So there you go.
all right. So you did mention Straw Hat. And he is currently waiting in the waiting room. Welcome,
Okay.
welcome, Straw Hat. Wait, fuck, where's he at?
Hey guys.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, that's him. There he is.
Sorry, it just didn't appear on my display for like a hot minute there.
Right. Hello.
To you and Blood
Hello.
Money, I've been fucking loving the shit out of your guys' promos. It's been awesome. I look forward to it every week.
Mhm.
I don't listen to anybody's promos because I want to react live on commentary. So far, all of my reactions to your guys' promos have been genuine. It's just been awesome.
Well, thanks. I just usually it just comes to me, and I write it down. I give it to Uncle to see if he wants to run with it. Then I run it past people to make sure it's all good, and I just threw stuff together.
Yeah, they have
Okay.
definitely
Pretty great.
been fantastic, especially with apparently Mr. Butler has a Keyblade.
Yeah, it happened during his little incident at Disneyland. He was fighting off Heartless at the top of Big Thunder Mountain, and he found a Keyblade stuck at the peak.
Ah, because that's
Oldest ride, longest line.
yeah.
Anyway,
Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh wait, fuck.
So
Shit.
Anyway,
So Straw Hat, do you have anything that you would like to ask the panel of people here?
Well, yeah. How do you guys come up with all the big, like all these interdimensional incursions and everything? How do you figure out who's going to fight the interdimensional champion? I mean, how do you figure out who's?
for the incursion, sadly, the person who does that had to leave because that's a Bosco thing. Okay. Here's the thing I'll say about that. Bosco has far more mods on his system than I do. I went for bare minimum, and it still fucked my game a little bit. So there's a reason why any backstage brawl has to be pre-record now. But I think part of it, from when I've talked to him, and maybe Zacho has some other insights on this, is he's got a set of mods. Because here's the secret. The game only lets you have 100 creator wrestlers. It's only got 100 slots. But if you're doing a modded slot, you're overwriting something completely different, and there's no limit. So this is why
Yeah, I
Bosco
tried something like that. Yeah, I tried to mod in slots on a previous game. Unfortunately, the game I chose to work with was 2K15.
Yeah. Oh, and it can do horrible stability things to your game. That's why I don't even want to bother with it.
We've hit the pinnacle because we added in Monkey. That was when Revolos came out. That was the peak. It was never getting any better from the moment the Monkey happened.
Especially with the
So-
Rikishi dance he has.
Yeah. So all I can say to that is Bosco has the mod power. I don't. Zacho, do you have the ability to do those kind of mods on your system?
not presently, and honestly, if I wanted some type of genetic freak from the multiverse to show up, I could either make it myself and give it a dollar store knockoff so that we can't get sued, or I can find somebody who has made it. Because that's pretty much how we got introduced to Ogre in the MNW verse was just Kurt pulling him from 2K, thinking, "All right, let's just throw him in."
Yeah.
Well,
I figured it was
and-
modded character models because Ravolos or whatever he's called just uses Gorilla Grodd's model from Injustice.
Well,
Oh,
and this in lies the problem, because basically, primarily when you see the incursion matches, those are using pre-existing models from other games. These are not necessarily compatible. They might be visually like, hey, I can put this hat on this monkey. Doesn't necessarily mean that the hat's going to fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that happen with Godzilla.
So that is always going to be an issue with those kinds of mods, where just because you can apply the model to the skeleton, the rig, doesn't mean that you are going to be without any sort of conflict. Now, that is primarily visual. What we have to worry about is what that does to the code, what that does to the program. The game is unstable enough as it is. We're now actually saying, hey, we want you to be more unstable.
Yeah. But I propose to the community, we all just go to the gym, get super jacked, start dyeing our hairs, and we just do it ourselves. There you go.
I mean, I've been thinking about dyeing my hair, but either way. So
Anyway, does that
problem
answer your question there, Straw Hat?
Yeah, that answers my question.
all right.
I also wanted to send a big thanks out to all you guys for all you do, and also to Travis for all the voices he does, and to Uncle Dunk for actually helping me out all this time.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys have been playing off of each other very well, especially with Nakano in your guys' team.
Yeah, he's fun to work with.
All right, so if there's not anything else, we do have one other person on the line that we should be bringing in. Oh, well, there he goes. All right,
There he
so
goes.
speaking of Meister, let's go ahead and bring him on in. Another one of the Bad Batch rookies. Hey, Meister, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello.
Sorry. So, is there anything that you would like to ask anybody here?
Just kind of like a broad question for everybody. Hey Rosso, every week we hear the big voices of like Genericson and Lawson and Rabbit.
Mhm.
Like, how did you guys come up with these kind of larger than life characters? Whereas, somebody like me with Pain, it took forever until I just went, oh, wait a minute, I'll just be me.
All right. Hey, Calibed, you go first.
Okay.
Tell us about Jerry Aldini.
Well, so part of it, there's a couple ways to answer that. I think part of it is I did at one point in my life want to be an actor, and but also I've spent a lot of my life and career doing games, in the gaming, specifically tabletop stuff. So, I mean, for me, going big is very easy. I'm naturally a very boisterous personality. So that I think part of it is just I have the confidence in who I am to say, here I am, drink it in, baby. But specifically for characters like Jerry Aldini, Jerry has the weirdest origin of them all. In 1994, I worked at Wizards of the Coast. And during that time, a bunch of my friends there, we got our hands on the World Wrestling Federation Adventure role-playing game, which was an RPG put out by WWF.
Oh dear God!
And we played this bastard for 2.5 years. It is to date my longest-running campaign in any role-playing.
Oh yeah, you've told me about this on occasion throughout the entire time we've known each other.
Each of us had at least 5 characters apiece, and one of my wrestlers was Jerry Aldini. And so what I did when I started creating the Aldini character for MNW was, in my head, it's the same guy that I was playing in the 90s. And his career is just those role-playing sessions, that everything I remember from those role-playing sessions in the 90s. So when you hear Jerry talking about people he wrestled, like Apollo Storm and Rocco Bonelli, those were other characters in the role-playing game. He even talks, Jerry talks about his wife Trixie, which was a valet character we had in the game. So a lot of Jerry's background was really easy for me to fill in the blanks because I have some of that preset, but the rest of it is just, I have also extensively studied improv. And part of improv is developing characters and the whole yes. And you'll see Canada and I go off on it continually, either as Jerry and Michael, or when we do in-ring confrontational promos.
Yeah, we have to cut ourselves off because Caliban and I we will improv to the ends of the earth, to the heat death of the universe.
I mean, if you've ever been in a chat where he and I start improving as Dr. Caliban and Seth Jackson, you know that at some point somebody has to just intervene.
We've nearly killed a man before.
So I'd say the answer to where do you come from some of that larger in life character creation is create a character, know who your character is, and find their voice.
See,
I would also recommend highly going with stuff that you know, and that doesn't necessarily mean stuff that you are familiar with. But like he said, this was something that he knew that he could reference off the top of his head because it is something that was a part of his life back, however many years ago. So the fact, my character, just a little simple thing, Pete McPherson. I have Scottish on my side, and Scottish on my side, and the Scottish side of my family is McPherson. Pete, my name is actually Tim. When I was in high school, I had another good friend of mine who was also named Tim. One night, drinking, playing cards, our friend group said, this two Tim shit is getting old. You look like a Pete. And so a year or two went that of them just being like, people just know me as Pete. So when it came to coming up with a alternate character, even my mom has called me Pete before. So I will instinctively, if Caliban goes, hey, Pete, what do you think? I won't have to hesitate. I will instinctively go, oh, yeah, he's talking to me.
Right.
yes.
So things like that will help you because they give you a reference that you can come up from quickly.
Well, speaking
Yeah,
kind of like on the whole character thing, I mean, being yourself honestly is not a bad thing. And like,
Yep.
a lot of people give him rightfully a whole lot of shit, but the one broken clock is correct twice a day. The one good thing that I will take out from Vince Russo is that what some of the best personalities in wrestling are themselves turned up to 11. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock being the biggest
Vince is
examples
the
of
chairman,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, Vince as the chairman, like those. That's just them turned up to a cartoonishly, a cartoonish amount. I mean, I hate talking about
that's
myself.
what Seth is.
Yeah, exactly.
At
like,
least his character traits are just like myself, but like in not just turning myself up to 11, but just my immediate impulse. Like that's how I write Seth's promos. Is just like what's the like first monkey brain like unorganized thought that I have, and then I just act on that, and that's how I do that.
yeah, especially
And
Yeah.
the thing with Michael Montoya, the way because I wanted to. Since I wanted to do a heel commentator, I used Michael because that's my middle name. And the only time I ever heard my middle name growing up is when I was in trouble. So hearing Caliban call me Michael or anyone call me Michael automatically puts me in a defensive position, and that's perfect.
nice.
I said in the chat, I don't know if Caliban saw it. Like, I'd actually be more than willing to give him the reins to Pain and be like, "Here, you want to cut a live promo? I have faith in you." But
And from the wrestler side of things, as far as creating characters, since the pandemic kicked in and I got my heel turn, I realized I was getting a little quickly bored of just being the troll who just says a lot of mean things. So I really started to look at things and realize I was angry a lot, especially last year. I was just full of piss and vinegar at a lot of things, and that's when I started looking up some more actual good promos. And among the things I saw, speaking of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the biggest inspiration that came to me was when Stone Cold went to ECW for a bit and started taking shots at WCW and how BS it was that he got let go. And I really started taking a look at that and realize he is stating a harsh thing because he is very much angry and taking legitimate shots. And then I looked at something more like what Brian Pillman did. And that's when I started seeing the line of, okay, I'm angry at a lot of things, especially some of the things happening in the actual show right now. Why don't I try to vent that out a little bit? Now, it's not always the healthiest thing because there have been times where behind the scenes it's got me a lot of flack, and I do know that some people hold grudges against me for some of the things I say, which I do apologize. But it's all about finding that balance of getting that certain characteristic out there and then reeling it back. So now that I'm obviously in a more calm place, I still have my points and my criticisms in my promos and how things are done, but now that I've successfully obtained my goal of being not only champion, but having a bit of a hand in the pie, as you will, things are starting to calm down for me. So it's all about that bit of reflection of some of the things that's happening right now.
You've entered your milk truck tiny cowboy hat era. Congratulations, Zaka.
Damn it.
Wow.
Wow.
You went from a
Did you pull a muscle stretching for that?
Because you went from Stone Cold to Kurt Angle in like 2 seconds there.
Now, in his defense, Stone Cold was a part of that angle.
He was a
Yeah,
part of
that's
the angle
what I
as
mean.
part of the invasion, but he did the truck bit, but it was a beer truck,
Wait, is
not
that-
a milk truck.
God, is that
Again-
an angle? Do you call it?
Angle
That was the
section.
joke. That was the joke.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've once again veered off to our discussing wrestling here history because we're all wrestling nerds.
Yeah,
Uh,
it at least with mine, it has not helped with all the video essays, all the video biographies that I've been listening to on a YouTube channel, and yeah. Ugh.
I've literally listened to 60 plus hours of wrestling audiobooks at work now, so it's all that's in my brain.
As a few people know on my end, I'm a very big OSW mark. Big old school wrestling video podcast. Love the guys. V1, OOC, Jay. Awesome guys.
we were actually watching one of them right before we
Yeah,
got
we
on
were.
on the air.
Little brief.
I was sleeping. I woke up and
That sounds wow, Tim. Does that sound familiar to you? Canada
Yeah,
was
no,
sleeping
I-
and then woke up for.
For those that
I
are unaware,
work
that is
nights.
basically how
you
how
can't
Warzone
be
happens.
like,
It's
I
Canada.
work nights.
Canada. It's okay. My wife works thirds as well. I understand completely. Like before I even turned on my computer, when I got home, I had to wake her up just so she can go to her shift in an hour.
Yeah, and I appreciate you waking me up. That was nice of you.
Canada, I got a weird question for you.
What's up?
Apropos of nothing, what nights do you work again?
What,
Do you work Mondays?
I do. I work
Ah.
Sunday through Wednesday.
All right.
Here,
Okay.
Canada, I'm going to shoot you a little message as to what this was all about.
What?
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
So
Offline
sorry,
stuff. Let's
in
get
the
back
meantime-
to let's get
in
back
the
to MNW.
meantime- Yeah, I was gonna say in
Wait,
the,
but Zacho-
yeah, I could.
I'm
wait.
scared now.
in the meantime.
No, it's
in the
Zacho, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying, sorry, Meister, did we answer your question?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. If you guys answered my question, I love you guys. I cannot wait to see what 22 brings for MNW across the board.
All right.
Go paint your face. Bye bye.
See ya.
I have to put up
All
with
right.
this all the time, guys. Okay, what's our next question?
This is
All
cool,
right,
yeah.
so this one is from Hex. It's more of a personal question. Who came up
Mhm.
with, mostly because this is a very positive outcome for it, but who came up with the idea of the outlaw keeping the outlaws out of the title pictures, and I guess the why.
All right. So a little bit of a story there. And it starts with me making a mistake. Specifically, we were getting ready for the tag tournament and we had the brackets worked out. And one of the secrets in that bracket was that Vince Smoke's partner was going to be the janitor. And that tournament was all RNG. So we were setting up the matches one day and something happened and we had to rework something. And when we did the rework, I forgot to put that match, the match with Vince Smoke and the janitor, on the card. And yet we had announced that it was going to happen, and I didn't realize till we were into the show that I had forgot to set it in. So I needed to come up with a reason really quick why the match wasn't there. And the first thing that popped in my head was the Outlaws, who have a history with Vince Smoke, attacked him backstage. That just grew because I write by improv. I've mentioned I do a lot of improv, and I'll start taking ideas and going, all right, where can we go with this? Okay, the Outlaws attacked Vince Smoke backstage. Okay. And then my brain started pinging on the idea of the Outlaws have done a lot. I mean, the Outlaws attacked people on Flashbang. The Outlaws have been out of control for a while, which is fine. That's their character. And it just hit me that with this one, Jerry might finally decide he's sick of it and is going to propose the punishment match. And then it was just a matter of, okay, well, what do I make the punishment? I don't want to make it suspension, because if I do anything with it, I don't want to risk the Outlaws losing and then they're off the show. That's terrible. But then it was the idea of, oh, well, the punishment would be they can't go for any titles until Multivania. And the reason we went with that idea when we started bouncing around was, oh, yeah, because they're going to go completely apeshit for that. And they're going to actually become more loose cannons than ever before, which is what's been happening. Now, what I will say is this, that we being those of us that booked the show have discussed this extensively, where this is going. Let us just say that in 2022, the Outlaw storyline is going to go in a direction I don't think anyone expected.
Born again Christian, got it.
But as to where it came from, it was literally just ideas spinning out of a mistake and finding the silver lining in that error.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it was very much kind of a RNG kind of, sure. Yeah.
Just instead of RNG, I was forgetful. Water down the wrong pipe.
Don't die.
I'll try not to.
Like kind of like beat on your chest a little bit there. Just go.
This works better for me than that.
Fair.
I don't know why.
Fair enough.
All right. I will survive.
I will survive. DMCA. Anyway.
DMCA.
All right.
That appears to be the last one that was loaded in.
All right.
Although.
So if anybody has any additional questions, feel free to ask us.
Yeah. Dad, roll one.
I have a question for Caliban that I've been wanting to ask him.
Ooh.
What is the biggest stinker I've thrown you on commentary so far?
Stinker? Oh god.
Like what's the biggest thing where you've just been like, how do I go from here? What is this idiot doing? Like,
I don't know, because usually when you do something, I just go, it's just Jerry no sells you. Is the
how dare you JR me? Yeah.
Or just moving on. Sometimes you've had things where it's like, in my head, it's like, Canada, love you, dude, but you're like new to the planet, right? So,
listen, my idiocy is part of who I am. I apologize for it, but still, it's gonna happen.
Yo, same,
see,
bro.
here's the thing: the only thing that would ever really throw me would be breaking the improv rules. Yes and somebody saying no.
Well, I've tried not to.
Yeah,
to
and
do
you
that,
haven't.
but, yeah.
I mean, you've gone off on some weird tangents, and I've just went, Michael, there's something wrong with you. And that's been fine. I have nowhere to stand. I'm the one that does the freaking defunct promos.
Yeah, I was gonna say you turned into a completely fucking different human being when you did those promos. I want to see your physical. Can you do some of the voice? I want to see your physicality when you do
the
that.
thing that I find hilarious is I know his wife is laughing her butt off every time she gets to hear him do that.
Room, yeah.
So well, I write by improv. I've already said that once, and I sometimes when I would be driving, I was working on that script, and one time I was driving and I was coming up with this whole idea about vampire hunters, and I started improvising it, and at one point I finally went, well, because they're vampires, and I did this thing, and in my mind it was the fangs, and she said, why are they bunny vampires? which is to this day bunny vampires. But yeah, I will go off on whole tangents. You know how you and I go off on tangents when we improv?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that by myself. So, but Defunk. All right, Defunk.
Well, Biddy, what happens with the funk is he comes on in because he's stealing the funk from Cloud9. And, well, Biddies, at that point, you just got to go with the flow of the funk. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to lay some knowledge on you right here, right now. What the funk sees and what he is, you cannot, as a human being, get there without chemical assistance.
I fucking love this.
And for a performing thing, one that chime in on is that this is something you will hear from a lot of voice actors is that it very much you have to physically move.
That's what I was asking about his physicality. It's so good.
God, I love
and I mean it's versus when I'm doing something like with
Ozzy gets very down like this. He's very close. He hunches his shoulders, and I get very close to the microphone because Off-Key Lime told me when I'm doing Azir Taran, vaguely menacing, vaguely European, think Nandor from What We Do in the Shadows.
So, and then if I have to do something like frickin'
Half, I'm basically eating the microphone because it's the only way I could possibly go that deep.
Thanks.
And then, Dr. Caliban is very greetings. It is I, Dr. Vincent Vladimir Caliban, MD, PhD, MAD. So yeah, I do get very physical when I'm doing. Jerry, not so much. Jerry is just a little bit of an extension of me, going a little bit more hype. But the other thing really that has come up with doing characters. There's Shane.
Look at the fucking handsome lad. Sorry, I got carried away.
When we're deciding, because we will decide during booking, okay, who's going to come on this week, and part of it is, okay, I can do this character, and then part of it is I'm going to talk to Canada, see if I can get him to do. Oh, hey, by the way, Canada, next show, Alpha Kong.
Adore I can, okay, no promises, but
So, the one thing, okay, here's a secret, guys. The reason I do high rolled is Canada has concern. He can never seem to do a French accent without slipping into German.
My French only, at a certain point it just turns eventually it doesn't stay. It won't stay.
So,
I get you. Like there's certain accents
I wanted to show.
I can't do honestly.
I don't know if I've ever shown the community, but the physicality, what I do with my body when I do Seth.
Please.
Go for it.
Please.
Yeah.
What happens with Seth? I literally, okay, so when I'm talking like this, I have my arms down, I do a slack jaw thing, and if you notice, this is my posture when I do Seth. But when Seth starts getting angry, you gotta lean back, and then you just throw it into the back of your throat. The way I do the voices, I just open my mouth as wide as it'll go with every goddamn syllable.
Like a lot of people don't realize how much like posture, especially with like the way you position your mouth, can go into a voice. Like
well, and you also typically have they kind of generally break down to two different voices, and that's your more head noise and your chest voice. So that, because when I do the ring announcing, this is how I normally talk, but now I go for that chest voice.
Yeah. Get
you
that
push
bass.
in from that diaphragm and you make sure everything's reverberating right here.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages.
Hell yeah. Like it's like I can't really speak about it when it comes to Johan. Mostly because I could bring up Johan right up here. It's like right in the top of my throat, even though with how bassy his voice gets. But when I'm talking about my boss, Kovin Alakia, I have to have a smile on my face.
One of the things.
Corbin, what are you doing here?
One of the things we determined early on, especially when it was like, okay, yeah, sure, we're going to do the promos, is at some point, the best thing you can do when doing the character voices is say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just doing it. Uncle Dunk, I'm just doing it. High roll, fuck it. Somebody's got to do it. Might as well be me. I was so happy though the day we put Gorm in the ring that Bosco was on the show. Bosco, you want to do Gorm? He's like, do I? and then he did a Botchamania. You talk too much.
Talk too much.
So
I fucking sent that to his Twitter, by the way. I actually sent that clip to Matthew's Twitter. I highly doubt it'll ever be used, but it'll be funny when it does. No,
but it was funny because where the announcer voice, as I see some people react, that came kind of originally we started with the idea based off of Caliban's stream where we were doing Monkey Island. And we had gotten to basically the used boat salesman, who's very much this used car salesman, and he would love to give you a brand new deal on his car. Mm-hmm. And I found out that I did a decent version of that, and then announcer voice is just louder.
Most definitely.
And a little slower.
Draw it out.
Yeah, it's
like
less trying to sell you something as fast as possible and more trying,
especially
more trying to sell.
Especially with at least how I present myself, like at the beginning of Firing Line, it's mostly because that's how I used to present my voice when I did radio classes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and stuff like that. But going on a bit of it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the biggest difference from this and what people do with pre-recorded promos is pre-recorded promos, you have a chance to script it, and you get retakes. Whereas we do every promo, we're doing live, and we're pretty much winging it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I know vaguely, okay, I'm going into this promo for this character, and I know the goal of the promo. I have to get this information out to move the story forward. But the question is, did I remember the timing? And also things like the one of the trickiest ones ever was I misset Mega Blitz X's attitude.
Oh yeah, especially when he was doing the physical.
So he came in doing the flex thing, and that had a subconscious influence on how I did the promo. And Mega later said, "Was that intentional?" It's like, not really.
All right, so
not really. One got away from me.
I would like to kind of progress. We do have a question from a Mr. Shadow Dancer Bob. Was there a bit or a revelation that you expected a reaction from chat, and the reaction you got was totally different, or was there no reaction whatsoever?
I mean, that happens. I'm trying to think of a specific example right now.
Hold on. I'm gonna make a prediction of what Ed would have said. Ed would have said, "Nah, y'all predictable as hell." That's what his response to that question would have been.
And then internally going,
yeah.
Boy, here's one of the challenges of answering that question, Bob. Doing this show, and you may experience this on the Maelstrom a little bit. Things start blending together just a little bit. I know where the stories have went, but boy, trying to think of something that kind of died on the vine.
I don't know about necessarily died on the vine.
I was expecting a much bigger pop. Honestly, I was expecting a much bigger pop for Mega Blitz when he had his victory at Thanksgiving. Although I'll tell you the reverse that caught me. I was not. Oh, hang on, my brain just went. The thought was there, and then it just scampered away. There's certain times when something happened. It's like I did not expect you guys to latch onto that.
Oh, I know one that you mentioned before that you weren't expecting it to go as well as it did was the nice promo off between Dagrick and Hyrold, where Dagrick had no idea what to do with Hyrold.
That's the one I was like. Because it all started like this. Zacho said, "You should do a promo where Hyrold very politely asks for a match against Dagrick." That was the entire genesis. Zacho said one sentence. I'm like, okay. And I've had conversations with the actual High Roll. He's a very nice, very
lovely
even-tempered
best being
individual. So I just sort of went, I'm going to kind of do that. But it's just like he's going to be. And I have lived near enough to Canada. I know that. And anyway, the point is, I decided, yes, he's going to be very polite. And then it was like, Canada, you come out as Dagrick, and just be fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
And that led to that promo, which got clipped. I will not say whether or not it has shown up on a Nexus nomination, because that's coming out. The Nexus voting is coming out next week. But it did. I didn't expect the high rolled promo to go over to the level it did. And everyone, it was the same thing. Everyone loved polite high rolled, which now is high rolled's character. And I've talked to high rolled. He said, I love it. Please keep doing it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So we just did one last week.
Yes.
Yeah, last
Suplex
week with
Sam.
Suplex Sam. Yeah. And that's just going to be High Rolled's gimmick now.
That's my favorite promos to do. Have been just being these big brash characters trying to wrap their hand around. Why are you so nice? Stop.
So, and I'll tell you one of the inspirations I'm using for that. Tim and I love this show called Leverage. And in the most recent season of Leverage, they had a whole thing where these are all master criminals, and they have one rule: never do a job in Canada. Because the Canadian Mounties are the most efficient and fearsome police force on the planet. They will put you down politely. They will put you down forever. And that to me is
don't fuck with the Mounties.
He is very polite, but he will
don't fuck with the Mounties.
He will wreck you when the time
So
comes.
is this now?
Wait a minute, I'm going to ask. I got to ask Zacho. Did you have anything when all this stuff? Because you do a lot of the planning of the show. Was there anything that happened that you had that you saw there was an unexpected reaction to?
Thinking back on it, since I can't really catch the show live and I don't go into the VC a lot, it's kind of hard to gauge that, especially since I'm asleep through half the show. And when I go back through the VOD, I just look for the key things that I was looking for. It's hard for me to think of a specific example, because none of the things that I put my effort into have gotten the bad reactions. So, not to show my inner Bosco or anything, but
you do good work.
I mean, if you don't got an answer, that's fine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't really think of anything because the things that I put my effort in have gotten the reactions I've expected. Maybe not the chat moving as fast as I thought it would, but that's probably all just having a freakouts in the VC anyway. So,
although to be fair, that match we just talked about, High Rolled versus Dagrick.
Oh,
that was a banger.
It was like the lead up to it told a story in itself, especially with the whole fire versus ice. Like, and I think Frost and I were selling it as like a war of ideologies, and Dagrick won. Like in more ways than one, and frankly, those are like some of my favorite wrestling stories.
Yeah.
All right.
And see, even coming out of that, that with a loss for High Roll, that it's still now pivoting into this whole angle with Suplex Sam and everything. That just that ideology and that just what High Roll is right now, still standing. It's just it leaves so much more room for so many more great interactions in the future.
Well, and it kind of goes back to something I think Tim made the point earlier. Since we took over the show, one of our goals is, okay, how do we make these various characters relevant? Because that's what it always comes down to on anything in wrestling is, are you relevant? Doesn't matter if you win or lose. You know, you can have people with massive losing streaks who are insanely popular because they're relevant. So Seth,
Axel? Kurt Axel?
Curtis Axel?
Kurt Axel's a great example. I was going to say
Ryder.
even...
Zach...
No, like
Yeah,
Zack
he
Ryder
really?
Yeah, like
The guy who actually did the straight up
Fuck
losing
you.
streak
Fuck
where
Canada.
that like literally put up, you know, his Titantron is his losing streak.
I remember. I just remember listening to like a Talk Is Jericho thing where
Kurt Hawkins.
Hawkins. Yeah, because like I just remember
Thank you, Grand Admiral.
I just remember a Talk Is Jericho thing where I think it was actually Myers and Cardona. I must have mistaken Ryder for Hawkins. Honestly, they looked alike when they got started. So
Well, the point
Continue,
being,
Tim.
go ahead.
What was that?
You sound like you had more to say before the Zack Ryder bit. What was it?
No, I was just example of, you know, the guy, like, it wasn't just part of his gimmick. His gimmick was literally a losing streak. So you know, that is completely viable. That's
Sure. But the point we're getting to is, as long as we can make the character relevant, you know, people look forward. Oh, hey, we're about to get a High Rolled promo. He's relevant. Oh, okay, we're about to get a match with Wilson with his new gimmick. You know, it's are these characters relevant? Are you going to go, oh, hey, it's this guy? That's much more important than a win-loss record. Some of our best characters, some of our most well-regarded characters have horrible win-loss records.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just to peek behind the curtain, Pyrold, since we keep mentioning him, he's on, ever since Caliban's taken over, he's on a what, 0-9?
Give me half a second. I will pull up the listing of the win-loss records, and I can tell you. Because I keep track of this shit.
I need to keep track myself.
So let's see. High rolled. Come on, this thing's alphabetical. Should be fine. There he is. So, for example, if we're using High rolled as an example, since I took over the show, High rolled is actually 0-6.
Wow.
Okay.
He's actually on the schneid. But everyone, you don't think that because he's relevant, he's interesting, he has these great matches. And that's the trick. And he's fine with it because people care when High Rolled shows up. And it's not just, oh, High Rolled's in another multi-man match now. No, there's something going on with High Rolled. There's a story. There's something I can invest in about his character. And it has nothing to do with whether he won or lost any matches recently. It's, you know, is he going to keep his personal integrity intact?
This whole community is just a great exercise in storytelling, and that's we're telling a story. So if you focus on telling a story before winning a match, then you won in the long run.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we look at the win-loss records, where people are in various people's estimations, I guarantee you, have nothing to do with their win-loss records. There's, you know, for example, Jack Abbott. Do you know Jack Abbott has one of the best win-loss records on the show? But that's not what people think about him. He is the perpetual underdog. Oh, how's Jack Abbott going to survive this match? Well, he's done pretty good so far. But
he just cut off Mad Jack's streak.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we sell him as that perpetual underdog, and so you don't catch. Oh, but if you look at his statistics, he's on the top of the heap.
So,
how many matches have I won? I think I have actually won a match, but I don't think many. I don't think many at all.
And that, again, that's because you've won one.
Yeah,
you have won one. But you see, that's the point. If the character arc is interesting, if people are engaged, that's what really matters. Not did you win the match or so. This is why I try and emphasize with people: don't worry about your win-loss record. You know, another person who's got terrible win-loss record is Nakano Kirishima. He's right now got an interesting story going on and is incredibly relevant. So, you know, and we've got plans for him.
Azir and everyone being terrified of his submission and technical wrestling.
Well,
when it has been too effective, but you know.
Well, that's mostly because of the legend that Azir has built for himself prior to that, especially with his his last run with the Hardcore Championship, where he defended it week to week for 3 months and broke just about everyone's arms in the process.
So I mean, this is the real secret to that. It's, are you relevant? Are your stories interesting? Essentially, do the fans watching the show care? And if they care, if we were a real wrestling federation, one of the things we look at is who's moving merch.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, people who would be moving merch would be people like High Rolled, and would be you'd start seeing Nakano shirts because people are caring about them. We don't have that, so we just have to go by what the pops are and the fan reactions are. And by the fan reaction, I mean the people in this chat right now.
Yeah. So I guess on the topic of relevancy, Vince Smoke is wondering, what are some tips that the community can do to make their promos better?
I mean, we have an entire channel on the Discord, an entire group of people who help people with that. Actually, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna turn that question over to one Zacho Duo.
Ways to make your promos better is see where the landscape of everything is happening in the grand scheme of things, and try to God, we've mentioned this so many times now. Try to understand where the greater picture is. I know it's a bit vague, but trust me, not everything is black and white or as plain as you see it. Like what I was saying earlier about my character, my promos were originally just me figuring out ways to get some rage out, and then I found a more constructive way to do it by trying to criticize the actual administration of the company versus actually just insulting people. Equipment, my quality, all that stuff, as long as people can hear what you're saying and you're not chewing on the mic or breathing on it, then as long as you're not doing that, then honestly my quality is not that big a factor. The other thing is having a character. You have this character, you know what their goal is and what they want, versus just cutting a promo vaguely addressing some things but not actually doing anything about it, I guess is the best way to put it.
That goes back to that understanding the grand scheme of things, like you said.
Right.
You have to have that in order to know where your character stands and to have a character in this universe.
I would say my 2 cents on this subject is your promos need to drive the on-air story. On some level. Your promos have to eventually matter to what's going on in ring. If they don't, then they are failed promos. I hear people say, "Oh, I just want to do a slice of life promo." I think slice of life promos are great maybe every 6 months. I don't know, maybe every 3. Every once in a while, a slice of life promo is great.
The thing is that ultimately slice of life promos are still serving a point beyond being slice of life. Typically, it is to ingratiate that person to the audience. So if you don't need to ingratiate the person to the audience, you don't need to do a slice of life promo.
Yeah.
Like you're typically doing that for a reason of you're trying to emphasize a certain aspect of the character because that is important to the current story.
Right. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Ultimately, your promo, if you're bothering to get on air at all, should be driving the. One of the things people talk, how do I be more relevant? Your promo should be giving me an idea of what to do with your character. As one of the people booking the show, your promo should be giving me story seeds. It should be saying how I'm going to present you during commentary in the ring. It should be giving Zacho ideas of what he can do with your character if we're doing something in ring. It has to be doing those things. If it's not, then it's not effective.
Yeah.
And if anything else, try to reach out to certain people who may not be in a critical storyline at the moment and see if they are willing to have a match with you. Because that's basically how we got to Beowulf and Sergeant Payne with the Hell in a Cell, right?
Yep.
Oh, they
If I remember.
were. Yeah, they were working together extensively, and they were coming together with ideas. And this, this told me they were working, they had worked things out. They were invested in putting the story together. I seem to remember they also weren't particularly concerned which one of them won.
Not really.
They just wanted this. They just wanted the story to boost their characters. So that was some great work.
Yeah, especially
and a prime example of how to do this.
Well, yeah, and if I were to chime in with any other final important part of this is talk it out, and that is with people in the community, with us. I mean, importantly, showrunners. But if you are just kind of feeling lost in general with your character, talk to other members of the community, and they will help walk you through fleshing out your character. And then one of the biggest things when people talk about coming to us with ideas, and one of the biggest difficulties we have is because the first thing that we have to ask ourselves is, does it work? And one of the first things that we're going to do, if it works, is does it fit the character? And you are ultimately hindered, unfortunately, if you are a new character, because we don't know you. We don't know what your character will do. So when we hit that wall of, will this work for my character? I don't know. So that is where we come to, and when we're asking you guys, give us an idea of who you are, give us something to work with, because that will give us a lot more for both voice acting, for promos, for just a general direction of your character.
It's like every acting coach says, make strong choices.
I have to do a shout out on all of this to Mr. Enigma.
Stins. Love Stins. They're awesome.
Yeah.
So, because since Stins adopted the character, the shtick, and I have gotten, been reached out, had contact, had discussions, and the first thing is the general agreement of, he doesn't speak. This whole which led to that great call out. Was that last week's call?
That was last week.
Last week's call out with Enigma, which was the most brilliant execution of that, and him sitting, so it was an improv of mine that we don't know his paycheck goes to an LLC, and that he built off of that too. Could you just start mentioning that LLC is giving away a lot of its money to this charity? Which was his let's establish I'm actually a face. All right, and well done, and well within that character has now been figured out. We now know who that character is, in part by the input of the player, with the brilliance of keeping his character mute.
I was interviewing Stins, and they were actually, I think it's just and they were like, I was like, yeah, they can go ahead and do it. I was like, finally, I'm gonna crack the freaking voice, because they were talking to me about ideas that they had about it, and that JC, obviously, another one of the another voice talent that we have who are doing promos up to wazoo. Seriously, people follow him on Twitter. He's a fantastic individual. But we got to the interview proper, and they were mostly doing Enigma nods their head, and I'm like, at first I'm like, okay, this interview is fucking dead, and then it clicked. I'm like, hey, JC, can you do a narration voice? I'm so glad it came out good. I'm so glad it came out good. It was so fucking good.
I hadn't heard this. I'll need to check it out.
I will send it to you. I will send it to you.
Need to
totally worth it.
Now.
It is worth it.
And for me, it was like, okay, that's going to help continue the information of what that character is going to be like in the ring. So in the end, those are all examples of what you can do with your promo and your presentation to drive your character. And once we know that, it's, the sky's the limit.
It's like making an initial sales pitch, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I think somebody else had said it earlier, and I've talked to a friend of mine. I have a friend from my days at Wizards of the Coast who works for IPEN University as an instructor, and he teaches a class on role-playing game design. And a lot of his things he does with his students is he challenges them, okay, go ahead and create a system. You're not allowed to use dice.
That is kind of the fallback for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's trying to break them out of the rut of, cloning D&D and then going from that there's more to the building of a role-playing game than just cloning something of a role-playing system you're used to and then creating a setting. That there's a lot more you can do with it. And so he and I were talking, and I presented him with MNW. And to the perennial question of, is it a role-playing game? And he said, it's absolutely a role-playing game. It's a little bit of an odd one because of the specific circumstances, and you don't have, the players are presenting their characters through the promos and through the booking, and it's got the normal wrestling thing of the bookers do have some control. But in the end, players are making choices. You heard this a lot when Bosco was talking. He gives a lot of power to his players. And we try and give a lot of power on Warzone, but with the balancing act of everyone. But then the determination of the outcome is the in-ring action. What happened in ring, especially if it's RNG. But in the end, yeah, it counts as a role-playing game. So I desperately sometime want to get that friend together with Bosco and see what happens.
Nice.
Oh boy.
But
that's just the insanity that would occur. Anyway.
In the meantime, we have another question from Sasquatch Wing. He admits it's a bit of an odd question, but for the producer and the GM in attendance. But what have you learned from the grand experiment in creative control that was the Battlegrounds?
That's hard because that was Kurt.
I would simplest answer would be that the first Battlegrounds gave y'all a little too much freedom, and it didn't quite move things along the way it should have, and yeah.
With that said, we do have, obviously, we are going to, after the C-101, we're going to have the Brawl for Y'all, which is the successor to the Battlegrounds. The lessons we've learned, at least the lessons I've learned. Okay, this is another case of, I had an idea. I sat down with Zacho, and before I opened his mouth, he said, I think you should do this. And it's like, well, that's good because that's already what I was planning. So, the lessons were a couple. One is, and this is sort of the lesson we've also applied to the C-101. Fatigue watching something is a real thing.
Yep.
And so, much like the C-101, the Battlegrounds tournament isn't going to happen all in one show. It's going to be spread out because that's the logistical way to do it. The other is, once we get to the next part, which involves the starships, we're going to have much more concrete rules about what kind of match you can challenge people to.
Because I think one of the problems we were having is that we had the two extremes and nothing in the middle. The two extremes being Travis, who wanted to blow all of his points as fast as he possibly could, and everybody else who wouldn't spend more than one. And we had nothing of in between of, oh, well, I think I'll use 2 points or a couple, and I'll try. No, it was all or nothing. And yeah.
Wait. So originally Travis wanted to go all in. Who is he? Me? That's literally how I bet. Fucking, I don't care.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the next version, and the other thing was, of course, the prize. I'm trying to remember. I think Kurt said something like, "Oh, I want a belt or something like a belt to give a boost to the person." Which the only problem with that is it's like, okay, but now there's a belt on my show that's not being contended for.
Yeah.
Well, it becomes a belt that's only dealt with on a yearly basis at most.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing that happened was I'm a big I loved the Wish Upon a Brawl tournament.
Mm-hmm. That was a good tournament. Yeah.
I might be biased because that was the first MNW show I ever watched. But it's like I can combine these things. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit more Dragon Ball Z than it used to be, but that's okay.
Well, the premise of the Wish Upon a Brawl tournament was actually very interesting, especially like at the end, or like you get a wish, or you get a match that you have always wanted. And it kind of opens the doors up for the person to go, wait, I can get anything I want. I can get a cage match on top of a cage match. Hell yeah.
So, anyway, those I think were the lessons from in the end. The real lesson, Squatch, is this: streamline.
Yeah,
that's what I learned. Streamline,
basically.
make it simpler. You do not need to overcomplicate things. Realistically, I should be able to pitch you the idea in 2 sentences.
All right.
And that's where we're going. And because here's the things we've learned from these lessons. Let's go back to the C101. I think the C1, it gives us time to plan out things. Huh, Zacho? Like, oh, we're only going to have 1 set of matches each week. Cuts down the fatigue, gives the things time to breathe and build. Imagine the storyline going on with Aiden Zero right now.
Mm-hmm.
That would have blown off in 1 day. We're stretching it weeks because we have the time to let it frickin' breathe.
Well, it also becomes part of the weekly product. People kind of tune in. Is this the time? Is this the day that Aiden gets the big win? Is this the day that he doesn't become spoiler? So yeah.
Or is this another day I get to torture Sean?
Torturing Sean's one of my favorite side activities. So,
oh yeah. Always great.
Yeah, but moving on, we have a question from Grad Dadmiral, mostly in regard to the rookies, because they feel like rookies have been getting a bit more attention than others. Like for example, Uzra's gotten a bit more. Oh no! Some of the rookies have been getting a bit more attention. Example, Uzra's getting a bit more attention than Ignacio. They want to know if this was intentional or if this was just kind of by chance.
It's just the organic growth of the characters. Uzra, when I Ate Your Goat for Breakfast adopted the character, had some ideas, especially when they finally came to me and said, can we reveal that Uzra is actually female so I feel more comfortable?
That Unga Bunga is actually Uzra.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, we can do that. That suddenly added a level of interest to the character. Same with when Uzra, again, Uzra had a lot of conversations in the background with the other Chained Hells guys. And they reached out to me saying, hey, we want to bring Uzra into Chained Hell. Great. Well, let us work this into the story over the next few weeks. And so that's why Uzra got some attention. Carcharodon got attention because he suddenly found himself challenging for the big oof. Ignacio, a little bit of a slower burn, but Ignacio's been working. Characters just work at their own pace. And, some of them, the biggest thing we work hard at is trying to make sure that no one gets left behind. That's one of the reasons why we have a spreadsheet that hang on a second, Joe. I'm gonna I don't think this shouldn't give away too many. If I hide this section and let me hide a column with storyline information on it.
How are you showing them the sausage innards?
I'm gonna show them a little bit. None of this should be too secret.
Things are getting.
I don't know if this is knowledge.
All right, can everyone see this?
Let me double check. That's
I don't know if it's going to show.
It is showing up on the stream.
Yep.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
It's blinking in and out, but if you just leave it where it is, then you should be fine.
All right. So this is the spreadsheet we look at every week, and you'll see I've got the characters' names. The green and red are they face or heel? Time they last used, information about their matches. I'm gonna go ahead and take it down now because I just want people to see really quick.
It does in fact exist.
Yeah, but the point is, the reason that exists is so the very first thing we always look at is we start filtering by last use. Who has been out of the ring the longest? Because then they get priority to have some kind of match on the show. Whether it be in a showcase match, or we try and do something with singles with them, or we're going to throw something into tag, it's okay. And then we look at other things. Okay, this guy's not been on the show a lot lately, but they're in a faction that's been very active. And that is another thing that can help a lot.
But I will caveat that. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to get this out there. You do not need to join a faction to be relevant.
Right.
Nope.
You can just work with somebody to get a match going or get a storyline going. Because at that point, we run into the New Japan problem where some people are only in factions just to put them in factions. That's not always a good thing. We can afford to have some single stars.
Yeah.
And I also mentioned this because, like I said, you could talk to somebody else to get a match going or a storyline that you and someone else think would be a good one. Just make sure it's not someone who's already presently involved with a storyline. And I'm saying that to say, stop trying to get involved in Max's business.
Yeah, so that's part of what we do for booking. So we're, those rookies like Ignacio or Payne or anyone of the Bad Batch, they are always on our mind, because we're always looking at them and we're always going, okay, where's their story? And the thing is, some of them, it may not look like a lot's going on. We do have stories for a lot of these guys. We have ideas where they are going. Now, to be perfectly honest, the level and depth of the storytelling for some characters varies from character to character. And that's just the nature. And again, it's how well do we know them? How well is the person promoting themselves? And also just where do we have really interesting stories? And one of the just truths of wrestling is you're going to have more option for an interesting story if there's history to build off of. We're right now doing we've been doing a storyline that involves the storyteller and the janitor. Well, that works in part because those characters have a lot of history we can build off of. Or Kane and Dr. Grimm, they have a lot of history to build off of. So that's history is always going to be an advantage, and you only get that by having your time put in.
Well, it is unfortunately one of the downsides of being new, and it's one of the unfortunate things that you are only going to get past by sticking through it. Just, be there.
And, be present, be active, be interesting.
Yeah.
We are not doing Dick Togo. I saw that.
Huh?
Okay, forgive. You cut out on that last part.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, somebody brought up Dick Togo. Dick Togo went. I went, no.
Who?
Okay,
I don't know
Dick
what
Togo.
that is.
Me
It's a Zacho does. And you heard his sound, so.
Oh.
Anyway,
moving on from that one, we have Shinobi asking, as soon as I scroll back up to see what the hell was saying. Hey, there we are. So is there, I guess this is more like a speculation thing. Is there any kind of inter-brand match that you would like to see? So, a Warzone individual with a Flashbang individual. And if anyone has spoken to me more than 5 minutes, y'all know what I want. Let's just go back down the card and see who.
There's a few.
I'm gonna abstain, but I'm gonna abstain because Bosco and I and Zacho are working on stories specifically about this, and I don't think I can answer the question without spoiling what's actually going to happen.
Wait, what was the question again?
Is there any kind of inter-brand match, so a Warzone wrestler versus a Flashbang wrestler, that you would like to see?
I'm not done with your Mad Jack, you son of a bitch.
That's the one thing I'll say.
Oh, fuck!
I know you broke J Frost.
Oh shit! Frost, you okay?
Killed another one. Frost. He's still
My KD ratio is 2-0, baby.
Okay.
So if anybody remember when he was leaning back in his chair, he
Yeah.
apparently has leaned back so far that it fell over.
Like,
Oh,
dude,
my
did you
fucking
break your
legs.
chair or something?
I got a Charlie horse!
Ladies and gentlemen, clip this. Don't let him forget this happened.
Do not let
So-
him forget it.
I'm okay!
I mean,
Joe, your
Fucking-
co-host.
Yes,
I will state.
that is the other half of my fucking brain right there.
Wait until
That's-
you see the surprise we're coming up for the fucking holidays.
Fucking, this is the half of my brain that can do math, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just state that right fucking here and now.
My fucking legs.
Fucking
There we
God.
go.
My fucking legs.
Jesus Christ.
You know, I think that to try and bring us back. Like I said, I can't answer this question because we're actually planning things.
Oh
I don't
God.
wanna spoil
Yeah.
And we know
Be
that there
hinting
are
at things.
we know there are people who have been wanting to make cross-brand challenges. I mean, everyone knows that McMorgan has been wanting to fight Johan forever.
Has he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. McMorgan always talks
Oh,
about wanting to fight Johan.
Is it
and
because
of
they
course-
have similar tattoos? Because I've been noticing a couple of patterns.
You all right there, J Frost? You functioning?
Yeah. Breathe.
I'll get Charlie horse is gone.
All right.
Good.
And obviously, there's the natural people want to see Carcharodon versus Zephyr Tail because shark fight.
Shark fight.
Yeah. Other than that,
Mhm.
I'm only bringing those up because the players themselves have promoted them. But outside of that,
I've said those publicly.
yeah, I would say for the rest of it, all I'll say is there is stuff that's going to happen because, as we said when Bosco was here, the lines of communication are a lot easier. Also, I think with the fact that we have people who could just pre-record matches. Zako has access to a lot of characters and can just make things happen if we've agreed to it story-wise. And you're getting a little bit right now in the C101. I mean, we very purposefully, we split both tag teams, and then we took one other character from each show and brought them over. In this case, we also took one of the trios champions over. And we chose Mad Jack because we just thought it would be the more interesting story.
Yeah, especially with his history with Zako.
Yeah, right. And then, which we've been playing with. Also, and they're just, for some reason, Sam Jax just seemed like a natural to go over to the Flashbang side. So, yeah, that already exists. And as other things happen, the Trios belt, let's put it this way. We have established the Trios belt can crossover shows.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, at some point, something will happen with that. And
There is
As-
one crossover match I can think of that won't spoil anything.
okay.
I want to see Nice Ice and Red Star Roman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're when Nice
Fooling
Ice
Russians.
returns, we will build to that because that just seems to be a natural. Some of them do have very natural resonances. I mean, and we have obviously teased forever and a day Dr. Caliban and Dr. Grimm. And yes, we
Right, which
had-
again wouldn't be so much of a wrestling match.
That's more of like a
Right.
that's more of like a visual chess match being played.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna
especially
say,
with,
that's the overarching
Caliban,
chess
like,
game.
Dr. Caliban is not a physical, like he doesn't fight using his body, he fights using his mind, and especially with like two evil geniuses going at it. I would much rather see a war of words with them than anything physical, honestly.
Well, we're like I
Caliban,
said,
go ahead and finish your thought.
yeah, we're so obviously we've teased something with that last week when Dr. Grimm came out, but I'm not going to say where that's going to go. I don't want to do anything that's natural. Maybe, I don't know. We're still planning it out, so there's no firm plans. We're just teasing it right now.
Look,
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil anything, but I can get y'all invested in the Yu-Gi-Oh duel in a fucking wrestling match. Don't make me do it.
he'll do it too.
He will.
I'm just waiting. My latest thing, Beyblade.
Let it
Oh
rip.
God, they're doing. No, I've been watching these guys reviewing The Witcher, the latest season of The Witcher, and they keep making jokes like, "And it's going to be a Beyblade match." So anyway,
That's great.
So
Oh my god.
It's too hard. Can we do Uno?
anyways,
We can play 52 pickup.
Joe safest.
No, that's fine. Mostly Bob correcting the records for Grimm. He's 1-1, not 0-2. He won a showcase match. And Hex is asking if we're gonna have like a pay-per-view like Cyber Sunday, where MNW, where the MNW chat votes on the matches.
Huh? I don't think that's.
I'm not against the idea. We couldn't really do it live because the setting up, especially depending on what matches actually win, and if they're even possible to do.
The best way that we could do that would be not so much where the chat completely decides, but if the chat chooses between a pre-selected group or something along that line, because if we do it too on the fly and with not enough restraints, we're going to end up with people asking for matches that we just can't do.
Yeah.
The best idea, the best way I can see us doing like an actual Cyber Sunday thing is like maybe a week or two prior, or maybe even a month, just to get this pay-per-view set up. Like certain title matches that we want to happen, we can say this title match is happening, but the stipulations will be decided by audience vote, or even just some other matches that are happening. Because that's pretty much what Cyber Sunday was predetermined matches, just that the audience decided the stipulations. So we could very much run something with that. And I know Bosco's done dark matches with his show by letting chat pick who fights who. But again, on the fly, that is a very, very time-consuming process. We want to try to get this out within at least 2.5 hours versus Bosco's 3 to 6 hour creation streams.
Well, and the whole point is that if you end up hitting a wall with any of these.
Yeah, I think part of like I say, it's an intriguing idea. We'd have to tweak it. That just brought into my mind again a little bit of, we've been kind of revealing the sausage tonight. And I don't know exactly how Bosco does it, but when we're doing Warzone, you end up with things like, we've booked out the match. We have the matches booked out for the specific next show by Tuesday. And that gives us certain advantages. One, obviously it gives Zacho time to actually make sure everything is recorded and edited that needs to be recorded and edited. Gives me time to double check where the booking is going to, and when I say book, we also pick the match order.
Yeah.
It's not just, okay, we're going to do these matches. We did it at one point. We're just going to do these matches and I throw them wherever. We have since learned it really helps if we actually
think about
as a group put together when the match is going to happen in the show. So, but then it's the things we have to do is in OBS, I have to load in the recordings of the match. And unfortunately, that doesn't take long. I usually wake up Saturday morning and Zacho's got me the matches. And I can get them in, no problem. And then doing the promos, same thing. And that's the pre-record promos. That's a matter of, all right, who's got stuff in this week? Okay, where am I going to put it in the show? Load those into the OBS. Get the loading of all of the RNG matches as well as the in-ring promos.
Then you have to wake me up.
And then, then we got to wake Ken up and, bully him into, I need you to play this character. And then, but so from there, it's just, okay. And then it's time for show execution, which, involves all the pushing of the buttons and the getting of the things. Cause I extensively use OBS and a Stream Deck. So I have an entire page of my Stream
That's
Deck.
the big one
dedicated
too.
to just Warzone.
Oh, you got the big one? Ooh.
I have the big.
Fancy.
So just to give you an idea, hang on, I'm gonna pull up my OBS. I'm not gonna necessarily show you guys this, but I'm just gonna, for my own benefit, pull up my OBS and tell you that on the last episode of Warzone, so there were a grand total of 8 recordings. That includes the before and after recordings of the C101 scores. And then I had 11 audio promos. So that's just of the things that went into my deck. And then we had 2 other RNG matches and 4 in-ring promos. So each of those amounts to a segment. Now, part of the reason we got to keep this in mind is each one of those segments takes time. And so when you're trying to book out, part of what we try and do is, okay, are we going to keep this show timely? This week we were looking at putting the show together, and we dropped one of our promos because it's like, I'd like to save the time here.
Yeah. This show is a real quick way to just murder 6 hours of your life.
Yes.
So, and it is my goal to keep it, under enough control that people don't truly get wrestling fatigue and watching fatigue before it's over.
Yeah, especially because I remember back in the olden days, 8-hour streams twice a week. It was a lot to take in.
I mean, frankly, I'm old. I'll get tired anyway. So, it's a lot of it is just, there's all of those little logistics you got to think about.
A lot of spinning plates.
And, Bosco keeps it even tighter than I do. So, that's all. And one of the things you got to account for, if a match is RNG, we got to give it time to load. Fortunately, I got a quick machine, but still, it takes some time to load matches.
Yeah.
And these just all things to keep in mind. And again, it's who's got what load, because if we have a lot of pre-recorded matches, that's a lot of work for Zacho. And right now with the C101, we're doing a lot of pre-recorded matches because we got some specific story beats we want to hit.
All right.
So anyway, there you go.
All right. So
Next.
This is, I guess, easier question. So meme fighting with or against Cyberbots win, and how have you guys been enjoying the intros?
Loving the intros.
Meme against the Cyberbots. I'm gonna invoke my Fifth Amendment rights.
Yeah, we need a certain additional member here in the chat to make any sort of progress on that.
So
yeah, Bosco needs to be around.
And then as for everyone for Warzone, for the regular intro or any of the pay-per-view intros, Rosso makes those for me.
Well, yeah.
And he does a great job. They come out really cool, and it does give a nice. I love having that because it gives a nice vibe to start the show. It's like, okay, because it's one of the things to me that says we're a real show.
Yeah,
it's not just a bunch of us just fucking around for a few hours, but
we're creating a production team.
We are technically fucking around, but we're productive fucking around.
We're proper fucking around.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are finding out, which is the best part.
Fucking around with a purpose.
We've found out several times.
What was it? Adam Savage says the difference between fiddling around and doing science is whether you write it down.
Yeah.
We have several things written down. Therefore, we've been doing science for years.
And I have an entire Excel workbook. Oh, I only showed you guys one page of the workbook, by the way.
That's why you said spreadsheet. I was like, no, you've got multiple spreadsheets.
I've got multiple.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have access to multiple spreadsheets, and I have nothing to do with booking.
So By the way, guys, if you haven't filled out a move sheet, please do so.
Yes, please do so. It helps out, especially with those big explosive moments.
Wait, have I done mine yet, or am I still in trouble? I think
you're still in trouble.
Fuck.
I might just say okay, we're gonna fill this sheet out now.
Well, guess what we're doing after this.
Wait, no, I need to borrow him first.
All right. Anyway.
So haven't really gotten any questions, and I don't think there's anybody in the waiting room as of current, but I do actually kind of have a general curiosity. Has there been like an overall theme or like an overall thing that you've wanted to do in 2021 so far that 2K has just not allowed? Or like it just did not work with the story that was presented?
I mean, like I said earlier, one of the biggest things is there were some of the things I would have liked to have done with Boots' story that the game just is too finicky to allow me to do. Also, with any of the female characters, it's just like there's some things that are like, oh, this would be really cool. I can't.
Yeah, I would say the intergender wrestling has just been the biggest hurdle in general. I mean, we're managing to get around it as best as possible, but if I were to say any sort of big hurdle, it's just the intergender wrestling.
Hopefully, possibly new platforms in the future make things easier.
Well,
or I got to tell you though, I'm nervous about March.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about March.
Me too.
I'd say the other thing is, and it's just because my game got hinky on it. I miss being able to just randomly throw a backstage brawl.
Yeah, and this is one of the odd things, people. This game fucks with computers differently. Like, so some of you know, the 2K19 straight up bricked Grizzly's computer.
Yes.
Or what?
Also,
Arcov. Although I think
Twice.
that was his. Twice.
Twice?
And there were issues that came up when Taka was running the game that nobody else would get. This game messes with everybody's computer in different ways. And apparently for Caliban, it backstage brawls.
You know, all those matches where suddenly they were in the arena, but it was empty and they were fighting. That's a backstage brawl. That's all my game will do with that now. And we have tried to make it work. We've tried multiple things to see if we can fix it, and none of it's worked. So, like I said, if there's going to be a backstage brawl, it has to be a pre-record because my game cannot handle it.
Yeah, no, 2K games are the Jägermeister of video games. It's not that worth it in the first place, and when it does happen afterwards, it just makes it worse.
I'd argue
there was never any redeeming factor about it to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
So I have an answer for this, but it's not so much the game limited me. It's just a matter of, in hindsight, I probably should have booked something better. One of the big balls I feel like I have dropped as a booker has been the tag titles. Because the champions, J Frost and Panda only defended it once and lost it to two guys who we unfortunately didn't really use that much because, again, we started focusing more on tags that wanted singles competition or just not booking as many tag matches as we should have. And now the said champions are in a 1v1 tournament and have not defended their title and since they've won it, which was like, what, back in...
It's been a while.
October?
It's been a while.
Well, and I would play devil's advocate there and say that we were also freshly coming from the exact opposite, where we were doing nothing but tag matches. And I think that, did we overcorrect? Possibly trying to make up for that, but I also would say that that is part and parcel of why that was happening is that we had a number of tag teams that had been overused to a degree. And we needed to give them some time off and let some of them do solo acts. And it's just, we had a lot of people in that line.
It's like every wrestling show, you know, the ones of the past and present, you know, it's that swinging pendulum of trying to find how many tag matches should we have? How many men's matches? How many women's matches? How many of these should be special match types? You know, we have to find that balance.
But I would definitely say that is kind of where we were coming from in that sense. At least I think so.
All right, we do have Hex. What potential storylines coming up do you? Excuse me. What potential storylines coming up for you folks do you expect to throw chat into a frenzy? I guess.
He's asking for spoilers.
I know, right? Because I was.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I was going to explain.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on the C101.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's see. We've already said that we're looking forward to where the new Wilson character goes.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing where the Uncle Dunk thing goes. You look at the stuff that's currently going on. That's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah. Like Zacho said, I think the projected ending of the C-101 is going to be, people are going to find it very interesting. Yeah, the rest, we got some interesting stuff, but literally to say anything would be a spoiler to a surprise. And we don't spoil in this dojo.
Well, that's why I was trying to just think of the current stuff that we've already kind of said that we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
So I guess I will try to expand upon that. Has there been a storyline that has been done that got a I guess a crazy good reaction that you guys didn't expect?
Well, we talked earlier about the Daggerick and High Roll nice promo thing. That was what we didn't expect. Trying to think, Caliban, can you think of any others?
That's I mean, a lot of them that I didn't expect.
Seth and Caliban, that was a complete just out of nowhere thing.
Well, yeah, that's not us booking. That was us doing stuff as promos. I think the only other
from
thing,
a booking standpoint, I thought. It was general.
I mean, I think the thing that the high roll thing is one. Actually, the other thing that's interesting is the actual reaction I have seen to the defunct story.
Yeah.
And only because people are already beginning to take conspiracy stuff. And what I love every time, one of my favorite things I will see in chat after a defunct promo is the number of people that their reaction is, the hell did I just see?
The hell was that?
The hell just happened there? Because in my head, I know exactly where this is going. I know what he's thinking, but yeah, I've taken Defunk into this. Yeah, he is definitely in his own little world now. I will say this: the best reaction I got on the Defunk story was one particular reaction, and that was the day I sat down and explained it to Bosco. Once I explained that Defunk has become the prophet of the Great Bull, and by Great Bull I mean the wrestler Edward Bosco, and the first words out of Bosco's mouth, I think you can all guess, was "fucking hell." And as I explained stuff going on and the pop that got, he after he expanded upon exactly how much he hates me,
which he must do every time.
He has to do it.
Are you going to force me to come out of retirement to deal with this storyline? Which of course
he's actually, I've heard him say that a couple of times. It's like, God, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm not doing it. It's like, I'm not asking you to do it. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just telling you this is where the story's going.
Like, even
he's going to listen to Sirius on loop until it happens.
Because one of them is like, well, you alluded to me. Well, if by alluding you mean used the name Edward Bosco blatantly on screen, yes.
Well,
maliciously.
Well,
maliciously. Yeah.
Well, the thing about that is, though, I can see where he's coming from, because you're literally playing with Chekhov's bull at this point.
Well, what I'm doing, I mean, literally, it's part of the history. I'm bouncing off of, up till now, Defunct's defining characteristic was he retired the Bosco character.
Yep.
I mean, Bosco knew he needed to retire the character. He used Defunk as the mechanism to do it. So it's an integral part of Defunct's character. And with Defunk shifting into a heel mode, one of the most natural... Hi, dog.
I'm sorry. The break...
Fucking
killed me. I'm sorry.
One of the most natural things was like, okay, what would influence Defunk as a heel? And for him, I realized it's the realization Bosco was right. because you know, I had a whole bunch of promos, Bosco telling Defunk why he sucks, and I'm just playing it as Defunk realized, oh, was he right? Or should I start doing things the way he said? Yeah, because he was the most successful wrestler of all time. Yes, I'm following the way of the Great Bull. That is, and a lot of this is coming from Clone Trooper Kev too. I mean, his character. He's had a lot. This storyline was his idea. He's had a lot of influence. But yeah, that's where a lot of that came from. But the people reacting, the sheer shock when we said Bosco's name. Like, you can't do that. So.
Like using the forbidden jutsu.
Well,
I've actually got one real quick. That Joe, this is kind of it's somewhat related, but it's got. When I first informed you, because you were just starting up Firing Line, and so you're starting to kind of come into the production group and getting more of the idea of what booking was going on. When I told you what was going to happen with the Wilson Iron Man match.
Oh yeah.
I loved the reaction. That was one of those times I was like, yes. I got that confidence that the bit was going to go over, because I said it to you and you just started laughing, and I'm like,
corpsed. That's how much I was cackling like a fucking mad corpse. Which, by the way, real quick before I forget, Twitch, thank you for the 600 bits, my guy. So anyway, but yeah, I couldn't breathe for like 5 minutes. It was fantastic.
I was cracking up for the notes I was given when we were going to commentate on that match. Because Zako and Doug just told me, we need you to sell the fact that this match has been going on, and it was a great 60-minute match.
So one of the first, about that match, I want to point out, that was actually one of Kurt's last ideas.
Yes, that was towards the end of when we were talking about handing the show off. It just in casual conversation, Taka had mentioned that he just loved the idea of doing this Iron Man match with Wilson, and it just gets fast forwarded because nobody's going to sit and watch Wilson for an hour. And just that idea, and basically once the booking started with Caliban and everybody else, we started talking, and I kind of put my foot down, not that there was any opposition, but I was like, we have to do this bit. And then it basically was like, oh, well, what if it's Meme that does it? And it's like, bring back Meme 3K.
Yeah.
Yes.
Theater,
please.
Yeah. Well, and Will was on board. I mean, I presented this to him like, hey, we want to do this. And he was like...
We didn't tell him the whole thing, but we basically said, yeah,
it's going to be... We're going to fuck with the match.
Yeah.
We did tell him we're going to fast forward to it.
Yeah, that basically is. We just said, look, we're going to pitch this 1 hour Iron Man match, and then we're going to fast forward. And Wilson was like, yes, do it.
Yeah. And then he jumped on that. It's like, ooh. And that's where you get the current Wilson storyline. Because he was the one that said... Can we have it as a mask versus hair match?
Yep, that was his.
That was Will's idea, and Will worked it with Human Warlock.
Yep.
And they were both like, we don't care which one of us wins. It's like, yeah, but from storyline, I can do this. And then we're where we are now, and some great stuff spitting out of it. So.
Yep.
Yeah, because like especially when you added in this, like when Will added in the stakes of hair versus mask, it made it a must-see thing. It's like, okay, this is granted, yeah, it was a bit of a, the old kind of an old Bischoff stipulation with it, but it made it seem more realistic to actually happen, and then when the swerve of the Meme 3K happened. You never expected that, like, whatsoever, because it only added on to it.
I think building that is like the proudest thing I've ever done on commentary. Is like just that was one of the most fun things I've done.
The only thing I worry about is because when the first Meme 3K happened, it was like a complete surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think
that
anyone
one
ever
was APS Doom, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
But I don't think anyone ever expected it to return. But then when we pitched it, hey, Zako, how about this? So now people are always going to wonder in the background, is there going to be another one?
Yeah.
And my
Whenever
answer
someone, that's
is, I don't
hilarious
know.
though. Whenever someone has a big match, they're like, "Fuck off, meme." Fuck off, meme.
So,
Well, and that was one of the other things that just worked out between the combination of the running gag that whenever production fucks up, somehow meme was probably involved.
Yeah,
and yeah, and that combined with also the fact that that meme and VIP were not on good terms at the time, it really just kind of hammered everything together.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It kind of goes back to what was presented earlier. Like it's just those little surprises that kind of just make not only like make the characters they're like, I guess more talked about, but it's just one of those things that you look out for, and that you kind of like you want to happen in a way.
Yep. And I will neither confirm nor deny whether or not that segment has any Nexi nominations or not. But, stay tuned next week.
Stay tuned.
Be sure to vote.
Yeah, vote
when it happens.
Get your sticker.
I will. The only spoiler I'll give you guys on Nexi nominations is I finally had a chance to go over them with Bosco today. And there was, when we were going for Flashbang Wrestler of the Year, he was Warzone Wrestler of the Year. One name showed up on that list that he's like, really? That person, they got nominated? And I was like, yeah, they got a lot of votes for nomination. It's like, all right. So, yep. You know, other than that, I mean, there was a couple of, really? This is what happened? Yeah.
Yes, I will say that Bosco was both pleasantly surprised and disgusted with all of you.
You know, how
So,
he usually is.
really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just normal Bosco.
At par for the course.
All right, so
I've seen Rosso's thing in the chat responding to the meme 2K.
Rosso mentioned when Zacho gave him the lines, he looked at it and was like, "Oh, this is going to be good." And then, you know, he did offer to do both Sawyer and Malice's lines, and he was like, he had his lips freaking welded shut throughout the entire fucking thing.
I desperately want to do a promo with Rosso. Like I when the opportunity arises.
Yeah, like I
really want.
I assume he was vibrating like a fucking gremlin when like the match started. And he was like pretty much at like Mach fucking 1 for 5 minutes.
That was one of those matches where, thank goodness, there was a clock on screen because we had precise timing. And when it hits this time mark, we have to stop talking.
All right, so
it's also great because it gave us how long of a break?
I'm sorry, what?
It was about 10 minutes.
Yeah, because of course, with the way the segment was, it was a 10-minute pre-record. So as soon as we hit that point in the match, we're basically not talking for the next 10 minutes. So that gives us the added benefit of we get to get up, stretch, get some water. Yeah, it serves a dual purpose.
Yeah, and it also. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat right now.
Yep.
I'm trying to look for something else.
Just ignore anything from Sandman. Ignore that question from Sandman. Ban him from your chat.
Which one? The one who's gonna win in a pizza eating contest, Marco Montoya or Seth Jackson? Obviously, it's going to be Seth, right?
I mean, I don't think we know if Mike is even a pizza guy.
Sandman or depth perception.
Wow.
Ow.
Fuck.
Ow.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please get in any kind of questions that you would like to ask the panel here. If you would like to, you can go ahead and hop into the Firing Line waiting room. But yeah, so
where are you guys gonna go?
Yeah, how much longer is the stream, Joe?
Typically we go like 3 hours, but typically like end around like 11 or something like that. If no one has anything else, else,
I was just thinking because we also started an hour early today.
3 hours. Yeah,
true.
So
to accommodate having Bosco on at all.
Wait, we got some from Zombie.
Yeah.
It's not highlighted, but
Yeah.
I will go grab a soda real quick.
Yeah, I'm
Go for it.
But first thing I would like to do is thank Lasume for the 100 bits, and so from Chocolate Zombie, when you guys do pre-recorded matches, how often does commentary know the outcome, and then how difficult is it to call the match without spoiling or eluding the eventual victor?
Caliban knows most of the time.
Well,
all
to
the
be
time.
fair, Zako, when he gives me the recorded matches, he gives me notes. So, and part of those notes include suggestions on what to emphasize during the match to sell whatever story we're telling. So every pre-record match we've had for the last little while, we've known who's, because I then share those notes with Canada and Tim, and a lot of it is just, okay, so this gives us an idea. So spoiling, no, not at all. I can act, because I'm going to act surprised, because part of it is usually, it gives us things to emphasize, like, oh my God, I think that blow hurt Zako's arm.
Yeah.
To sell the ongoing story. Or, in recent C101 matches, emphasizing a moment that, this could be really pivotal to what's coming up. So we know what's going to happen. Absolutely. Sometimes, and this is really helpful, if there are specific big moves, we'll know they're coming and when, so that we know that we're not going to miss it, and we're going to talk about the big move. Especially if it's a very specifically edited move. That's very helpful, so that we know exactly what's going on and can sell appropriately. And sometimes it's even, we're going to sell something to explain what you're going to see next, because the game can't handle doing things like, oh my God, that's meme rushing out of the audience to go restrain VIP members.
Yeah, when it's something that you can't exactly have the game do a thing, so we cut.
Yeah. So yeah, we know that, we get that information. I'm trying to think, Zach. I think it's been a long time since I've gotten any kind of pre-record match where I didn't know what the outcome was. Usually, when we pre-record a match, we're doing it because we want an outcome.
I mean, thinking on it, yeah, I know we've had some where, just for the sake of getting the game work, I have pre-recorded RNG matches where it didn't matter who actually won. But I think I still told you who did, just for the sake of, okay, just so we can get a script and try to spin a story immediately rather than shotgunning everything on the fly. Otherwise, we end up with another unfortunate situation we can't write ourselves out of. But yeah, I think I pretty much tell you the results of everything I get.
I mean, in like the last week's one, there were a couple matches where your notes were nothing special. This person wins.
Well, and there's also been some progression in just kind of the general management, because I mean, I wasn't always getting the notes from Caliban that Zaka would send. So, some of it I wouldn't necessarily know until the day of, and then it's just like, oh, okay, and just kind of just, hey, okay, that's the factor. I don't really register it, but things like where now when me, Canada, and Caliban meet up for Warzone, we'll sit there and kind of, Caliban will go over Zako's notes. He'll send a copy to me and Canada, and we'll kind of go, okay, this is the match order, da 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 da, and we just kind of go from there. Just kind of go, okay, that's the general layout.
All right, and I think this will be a good question to kind of end it on. What has been your favorite feud of this year, and not including, and this can include anything that's not nominated for a Nexus?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm gonna say, because first off, let's talk about Flashbang for a second. This has been very Warzone heavy because Bosco left, and those of us here work on Warzone. But for Flashbang, I've actually really been getting a kick out of the whole issue between the turmoil between the cartel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
was
know.
gonna say the whole cartel thing going on. That's just been awesome.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So Squinto Bean has done a great job of building up the Victor Vicious character.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And
Agreed.
and that has just worked. So I mean, basically, right now, I think they can have a good feud with anyone. But the fact they're essentially having a cartel civil war, I think, is spectacular. Warzone, we were discussing when we were going over some of the Nexus stuff that Warzone's in this really weird space this year because it was essentially, you've had 3 different styles of Warzone in this year. You had what Kurt was doing in the early part of the year. Then you had Bosco doing his stuff in the transition. And then you had, once we transitioned over to the current team. And it's really weird realizing, okay, we still have to think of it all as one show, even though the Warzone that is currently in existence is drastically different in a lot of ways from what we had previously. Which is a really long-winded way of saying, some of the feuds that started out the year are obviously in different places than they are now. So I'd say
I'm biased, so I'm going with janitor and storyteller. So
Yeah, that's fine.
Driving your truck. No one cares. Shut up. All right,
I was gonna say for the early part of the year, I actually really liked the Hat Smoke Daverman stuff going on. And then since we've shifted, I mean, honestly, and it's again, it's that weird. It's weirder when you work on it and you're guiding the story. Obviously, I think the best feud we've executed overall has been the meme VIP feud. But we put all that in part is because we put a lot of work into that feud. A lot of work. I mean, as I said, Nazako, I mentioned this before you shut up. We had, from the announcement the Thanksgiving was going to happen through Thanksgiving, prior to that, even that announcement, we had all 6 weeks worth of matches mapped out. We knew exactly where that story was going, and a lot of it was designed. So, okay, how can we maximize the drama of this feud? So, I think that's another question. I think what's going to be interesting is when you guys see what shows up next week on the Nexi nominations, because the Nexi nominations reflect what the community was thinking were the best feuds. And I think that's the bigger thing. Is it's one thing to say, what did we think were the best? Well, we like this, but we liked it because we really are happy with the work we did on it. Versus, what did you guys think was the best one? Did our job pay off? Did the audience get the response we wanted them to have?
Right.
Anyway, that's my long-winded answer. Zacho, do you have a?
Me and Azir.
See, again, same basic feud. I want to do a shout out though, based on that. I want another quick shout out to Off Key Lime.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's because he's our YouTube guy, and he participates in production meetings and is involved in a lot of background stuff. But he is such a team player. I mean, he's like I said, when we were doing the Nexus Titan tournament to determine what ultimately led to Lady Boots. And we were having a match between Azir and Defunk, and Azir was very much, can I lose? I think Defunk needs this win. That's Off Key Lime. He cares about what's telling. He cares about the story, and so Off Key Lime coming into that and going over stuff. He's like, I'm game. What are we doing? How am I making? He was literally, how am I making the faces look good?
Yep.
Yeah, I also kind of want to add in with Lime. He is one of the more patient people I've ever dealt with, especially with my scatterbrain ass, with my current schedule, like trying to upload everything for Firing Line and stuff. I'm like he just keeps saying, "Don't worry, man, it's okay. We got it up there."
Yeah. That's good because this week's been so busy. Thank goodness I have an extra week. I'm behind on getting some of the Warzone and Firing Line stuff done.
Same.
But we got a week.
Same.
We got a week. It's not. I'm not worrying about it because we've taken the week off. It's all good.
Also, Caliban, Tim, what life milestone do we have to hit to get the circle glasses? 'Cause we're in our square frame stage. So, what stage of our lives do we need to hit to graduate to circle frames? What?
Well, I don't know.
Listen,
First is the realization that circle frames are in fact superior, and then
Hey,
ordering
now.
a freaking pair.
also,
I
one.
use Zini.
Listen. Only one of us in this call works in optics. 2, my face does not fit a circle frame whatsoever. This works for me.
Wait. Let me do this. I'm doing this all wrong. Hang
So
on.
I could dunk on all of you and just go, yeah, I don't really actually need these.
Oh, fuck off.
This is basically like HD. This is like HD for me. So I just take these off and everything kind of just goes a little standard definition. But
And then I got these.
I have a cross eye. I
Awesome.
can't take these on.
yeah, so
I mean,
I don't need glasses to drive.
Fuck you,
So
Frost.
I am severely nearsighted.
You're able-bodied. You go away.
I need,
And you're
I
fit.
need it. This way. Everything is now blurry, but I got these. I specifically bought these for streaming. As I'm slowly working on creating a Dr. Caliban looking costume fight. By the way, Tim, I need to some point. Mrs. Caliban has a question to you for you about chroma key.
Okay.
And whether I can safely just paint the background green.
yes.
Just matte paint green and it'll work.
Well, now,
depends on
what you would primarily want to do is to find, for lack of better words, it's lime green. The thing is that the reason that it is that color is that it is one of the more uncommon ones to be worn as clothing. Originally, the tech started with blue screen. Then they realized, hey, there are a lot of people that wear blue clothes. They switched to lime green because it's a lot less common. So it doesn't technically matter. You could paint the wall red and chroma key it red out, but anytime somebody shows up with any sort of red clothing, woo,
My eyes would become anyway.
So yes,
But we can talk about it later. But you can have mine. I have one. I'll ship it to you.
Oh, I've got a screen. She's talking about painting it.
yeah, just actually doing the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my
So-
old boss actually bought chroma key specific paint that's actually like to the hex code.
Yeah.
Because unless I decide to suddenly have the disposable cast to shill out for a VTuber model, I think might start getting ready to do something with the background just to take that next level up for my on-screen stuff. But that has nothing to do with MNW. Hey, folks, we're so glad you came to this MNW stream where you can learn about chroma keying.
Listen,
I
asked for a consult on a price for a Seth Jackson model.
Of course you did.
Oh God.
Yes,
see.
Zacho?
I was just saying,
We'll see.
we're coming up on 3.5 hours, and I haven't seen any new questions come up. So
Yeah, I think we're good here.
I was actually just looking up people to raid. So, okay, I have someone that I have not rated in a hot minute. So I guess we can just go ahead with the outros. I'm gonna send people off personally. So, I guess first and foremost, kind of going from left to right here, Canada. Where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube, The Corporal Canada. If you need any sort of voice acting things going on, at Corporal Canada on Twitter. I will gladly work on whatever projects people got going on. I'm leaning hard into that, focusing on getting my career going. Check out my demo reel. Check out whatever you can. And I did this whole stream with no pants on.
Lovely. Caliban, where can they find you?
I knew it.
Twitch.tv/Dr_Caliban. That's Dr_Caliban. Obviously, we're taking this weekend off because it's Christmas. Spend time with your families. On Monday, we will return at 6 p.m. Pacific time, continuing our playthrough of Evil Genius 2 to show you all the DLC content. Tuesday, Tim, are we going to do the thing on Tuesday? You want to hedge your bet?
Yeah, I don't want to hedge my bet.
Keep your eyes on our announcements. Tuesday.
Basically, everything's still up in the air because of the holidays. So
Yeah. So we may or may not be doing something on Tuesday. or Wednesday. But of course, on the first of the year, January 1st, Warzone returns with the latest round of the C101.
Woo.
Can Aiden Zero remain relevant in the tournament? It requires Aiden to win and Ginger Boy to lose.
Actually,
Dun, dun, dun.
I have not announced
fun,
what next
Sean.
matches are, so I can go ahead and just knock that out. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Oh, live announcement.
Yeah, live. I mean, we had it worked out, but yeah, you're right. We haven't announced all the
Firing
matches.
line exclusive.
Okay, so-
exclusive.
Your round 5 matchups for the C101 when Warzone returns. Dagrick takes on the Janitor. Jack Abbott faces the Madness. Zako Duo takes on Lady Boots. Daverman takes on Ginger Boy. And Aiden Zero versus Mad Jack.
Aiden has to win.
Especially with Mad Jack's recent loss to Jack Abbott, could the momentum be shifting into Aiden's favor? Who knows?
Can Aiden Zero dunk on a pumpkin?
Hell
We'll
yeah.
have to find out.
Anyway, so kind of going forward, Tim, where can they find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/storytellers. Haven't been streaming much lately. Trying out some tech stuff. At some point, me and Caliban are going to pick back up our playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 1.5 casual. When I say casual, because I have a lot of Final Fantasy knowledge. He's got a lot of Disney knowledge. And we're just going to play through the thing casually and just point out shit. Hey, did you know this is this?
I did not, Tim. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Alrighty, the co-host of Firing Line, Jay Frost, where can they find you?
If you're alive.
Ah, shit. You can find me here at twitch.tv/JFrost747, where hopefully I can get back to streaming, because life, it is a pain.
You
But-
guys
Especially when
wanna
you get a
tune
Charlie
in,
horse.
folks. You
Yeah,
wanna tune in
especially when
whether
you
or
get a
not he's
Charlie
gonna
horse and you
die
become crippled.
live on stream.
I can become crippled from like a solid 2 minutes.
Dude, I was worried
And
that
now?
I was honestly worried that you broke your seat, your keyboard, like your fucking leg and shit.
I think I actually
Yeah,
fixed
yeah.
my
I
chair.
don't think the first two things you mentioned were not parts of his body.
Well, that's because like I know how stupid resilient he is.
You say that.
All right.
Old
I
age
know
is
this.
coming.
Was this our wrestling show's first injury, like kayfabe injury?
Dear God, Zach, go shill yourself so we can get out of here.
Yes,
I'm
Zach,
suing you.
You can find me over at Twitter and Twitch at Zako Duo. I also stream. I haven't been lately because my weekends have been getting eaten up by a lot of things. So I'm hoping to stream probably tomorrow or on Christmas. Well, actually, today's Christmas Eve for me. So probably either tomorrow, which is Christmas Eve for y'all, or Christmas Day. So we'll see where that goes. As far as what I'll do, I got nothing.
I do have one last shill, actually, before we end. And that
Oh.
is for he's not with us, but Mr. Edward Bosco.
Indeed.
Sort of a shill. So tomorrow night there will be no Flashbang, as there will be no Warzone on. And Bosco said he is not going to do anything wrestling related. He might, emphasize might, do a Halo stream tomorrow.
Most definitely.
No MNW related content.
No,
All right.
Go
None
back to their families. Christmas.
until
Christmas.
December 31st,
Holidays.
when Flashbang returns for their next round of the C101.
All right. So you guys can go ahead and file out if you want. I'll do my own outro. Kind of address the chat.
Oh, I can see when I'm not wanted. All right.
Yeah,
I'll see you in a bit.
bye,
Fuck
everyone.
off.
God damn it.
Anyway,
I actually do need to go grab lunch, so you guys take care.
get the eats.
Get food.
I just want to give you guys. I'll get the mouse away from my fucking face. I just want to say thank you guys, especially for everything this year. I know I kind of do this just every other week, but honestly speaking, like 2021 for me has been a fucking tremendously big year. I mean, this is the year I became a father. And especially the year, like, I had to take a break just so I can get my own schedule figured out. And with Frost and Ice D&D streams going into a, let's assume a thank you for 33 bits. Especially with, like, a Frost and Ice D&D streams going in on a Sunday, that means more time. 32 more bits from Lasume. Thank you again. I appreciate it. That's honestly because of you guys being so well receptive of 25 more bits from Lasume. Let me get this out before you start raining fucking robots on me. Okay, you're done now. Seriously though, with everything that's been going on this year, especially with, this hasn't been the worst that my anxiety has plagued me, but this has been pretty it's been up there. You guys have been so welcoming and accepting of not only my bullshit, but also actually no, Jeffress, your bullshit is like cheeky and fun. My bullshit's kind of depressing. I'm kidding.
Fucker, you better be kidding, because that's totally the opposite.
Dude, you're fucking hilarious. Shut up. Either way, I love you all. And it's hard for me to say that to people because of how fucked up my emotional state is half the time. But seriously, though, I love you all. You guys are fantastic individuals. I am so thankful for every single one of you. And I'm hoping 2022 makes not only MNW, but not only makes Firing Line bigger and better than it was, but MNW as a whole. Until then, I have somebody that we're going to raid. And he's bigger than life himself. You found your new husband? Aww. Oh, he's calling me the new husband. Okay. Listen, Canada.
I see how it is, Canada. I see how it fucking is.
I can't help it. I just do the things that he likes. I guess. I mean,
I'm taking the house and I'm taking the kids.
it's okay. He can live with me in my trailer with too many people who are living in it at the moment. Anywho, we are going to rate someone who is definitely has a larger-than-life persona. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are rating the Atomic Adonis, Big Papa Plutonium.
The main man, the Chernobyl Chad, the 4-time, 3-time, 3-time, 2-time, 1-time, anytime champion.
7-Eleven, I-95, South.
Master of the 69 ex-wives.
It still fucking gets me, I swear to God.
I know, it gets me. And honestly, I actually have a document that has all of his names. It is long.
I will need that. I am going to need that in my life.
Bro.
Anyway, go spam Firing Line raid. Give this man all of your love and attention. And we will be back with a proper Firing Line recap next week. Next Thursday on the 30th at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I'm Joe Mojo, and we are signing out.